hot California sun is perfect for baseball in a park named in honor of the area's Native American heritage. You'll see a mix of the Walking Dead and live Major League prospects. That's coming up next on the Minor League Game of the Week here on CBS Sports Network. Tonight from Chukchansi Park in Fresno, California, minor league baseball game of the week action. It's the Fresno Grizzlies against the Albuquerque Isotopes. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dick Gabriel, along with former big league infielder Doug Flynn. Fresno, California, basically the midway point between San Francisco and Los Angeles. Doug, perfect for tonight's matchup.
You know what that means, don't you? Giant fans, Dodger fans, been a big rivalry for a long time. So be surprised if you don't see some blue mixed in with a little of that orange tonight.
Fresno, the AAA affiliate for the Giants, Albuquerque for the Dodgers, and of course on the East Coast, it's Yankees, Sox out here, Giants, Dodgers all the way. And tonight we'll see two outstanding prospects. First, for Albuquerque, a guy swinging a pretty good bat most of the time.
Well, Jock Peterson, the number one prospect in the Dodger organization, is outstanding. He's got all the physical tools, Dick. One thing that he struggled with, though, is hitting against Fresno. He's hitting 400 against all of the league, but only 200 against Fresno. Maybe they'll figure it out tonight.
And the Grizzlies have a guy swinging a bat that's as good as any in minor league baseball.
Adam Duvall had 6 RBIs in one game. He leads all minor league baseball with 39 RBIs. He has 13 home runs, almost hit for the cycle the other night. He'll be fun to watch.
Top home run hitter in the PCL, and it's a great place to watch baseball here tonight. It's pretty warm, but a great night for baseball. Chukchansi Park has it all. Obviously a great playing surface. It's got a swimming pool, a garden, a farmer's market, and of course tonight, great minor league baseball action as the Grizzlies play host to the Isotopes. Starting lineups are coming up next on the CBS Sports Network with a minor league game of the week. Chukchansi Park in Fresno, and you see what the weather's been like here. Yeah, it's been warm, 100 degrees here at game time. Wind blowing out at 15 miles an hour, and of course, it's going to stay warm here, but it's getting cooler with the minute, and a wonderful night for minor league baseball. We'll take a look at how the Isotopes of Albuquerque will come to the plate. Mike Baxter will lead things off. Began the season in Los Angeles. Carlos Trienfeld, a former Seattle Mariner. Jock Peterson, a .359 average. Clint Robinson batting .301. Alex Guerrero also started the year with the Dodgers. Tim Federich coming off a 3-for-4 performance. Jamie Romack, the Canadian star. Trayvon Robinson, and followed by Carlos Frias, and yes, the pitcher will bat tonight. It's a National League kind of thing going on. Mike Kickham will be on the mound tonight. There's a good look at Mike. He's 1-3 with a 3.16 earned run average, and as we mentioned, this is basically Dodgers versus Giants, and it's going to be that kind of game tonight. Kickham has had his moments, Doug, and you see with the ERA, he does not give up a lot of runs.
Well, you said basically it's Dodgers versus Giants. No, it is. This is ingrained in these two teams that when they start playing, this is a rivalry that is certainly carried over for years and years from the East Coast to the West Coast. And two teams that have some tremendous prospects. We'll take a good look at them tonight, talk about them a little bit more, of some guys that maybe could be in the big leagues if they didn't have people in front of them.
There's the defense as you take a look at Fresno across the outfield. Dominguez, Brown, and Perez around the horn. Duvall, Noonan, Panic, Ishikawa, and Susak behind the plate, catching Mike Kickham, the former 6th-round selection, taken by the Giants. And he is a native of St. Louis, Missouri. Played his college baseball at Missouri State, and he's a big one, 6'4", 220. And Mike Baxter will start things off for the Topes of Albuquerque. Albuquerque 18-21 coming in, Fresno 19-21. But here's the difference. Albuquerque is tied for second in the Pacific Southern of the PCL, but a full 10 games back of Las Vegas. Fresno is in 4th place, but only 2.5 out in the Pacific Northern. So just a matter of geography, Doug.
Absolutely. And two teams that are very good, very similar. And as we start off and look at this league, the Pacific Coast League has been known over the years as a great hitting league, but this is one of the ballparks in the league where it doesn't travel as well as it does in the others.
Adam Duvall in on the edge at third base, looking perhaps for a bunt. from the speedy Mike Baxter. But instead, Baxter delivers into the right field corner, and he's going to make the turn. Baxter will get to second base and goes in standing with a leadoff double.
Just the way you want to get the game started. Your leadoff man gets a pitch across the middle of the plate, hammers it down the right field line. You can see this is a fastball just right down Broadway. So he lifts that leg up and hammers it to right field.
Baxter relieved, I'm sure, to get started well, because last series 2 for 14 with a couple of walks. So the productivity had fallen off ever so slightly for the young man from Whitestone, New York. And now Carlos Trienfel originally came up with Seattle. And he lays down the bunt foul. So already manager Damon Berryhill looking for whatever runs he can get.
Playing a little small ball early. And when you got a hitter on deck like Peterson, knowing that if you get that guy over to third base, you got a real good chance of getting him in. Former catcher Damon Berryhill. He and I, we didn't pass, he's too young, but we did have several teams in common, one being the Cincinnati Reds.
Trienfel from the Santiago in the Dominican Republic, where the Mariners found him, signed him as a free agent in '06. A nice pick by Andrew Susac behind the plate.
But we've heard a lot of rave reviews about him. But when you look ahead of him, there's only one place to go, and that's Buster Posey. A pretty good ball player with the Giants.
Not too shabby. Trienfel made his major league debut in 2012, got up for 10 games in Seattle. 17 more big league games in 2013, but in order to remove him from the 40-man roster, the Mariners had to waive him, and the Dodgers jumped on him.
We've talked several times that when you're out here playing, even though you're trying to impress your team, there's always another team that may have a use for you. So you see a lot of movement in the minor league, especially a lot more now than you used to.
Trienfel right back up the middle, and Baxter will score easily. And it's a 1-0 game. Back-to-back base hits for the Isotopes. Took it right back where it was thrown to him, Doug.
He sure did. You know, he kept trying to go to the opposite side. That time got a pitch that he could handle real well. Pitch on the outside part, a little breaking ball. He tries to backdoor him with the slider, and he stays right with it and hits it up the middle instead of trying to pull it.
So the Isotopes with a hot start, and now their hottest hitter, Jock Peterson. But as Doug mentioned in the open, right now, Fresno, the only team in the league that has figured him out.
Well, here's a young man that came out of high school, actually from Palo Alto High School, so not too far from here. Had committed to go to Southern Cal, but his father also was a player, had 8 games in the major leagues. But boy, he has just been a great hitter, and one of his successes has been the fact that he's not only strong, but he will use the whole field.
And yet just a 200 average against these Isotopes. So the scouting report here in Fresno, a good one on Peterson. I'm sure a little bit of bad luck mixed in. And also, they tell me because he grew up not too far from here, they think maybe he presses a bit when he's playing in front of friends and family here in Fresno, California. Foul. Susac plucks it out of the air.
We were told tonight that he would have probably his family here to watch him play, which is understandable.
You mentioned his dad getting not even a cup of coffee, a sip of coffee from the Dodgers, although he was in the Dodgers system for 12 years. Up for a total of 8 games, got 4 at-bats. But you know what? They were all in the big leagues.
That's exactly right.
1-2 pitch. Tries to go with it.
Dick, as we watch batting practice in this ballpark and talking to broadcasters and other folks around the cage, they said in this league, most of the ballparks, it will really jump, but for some reason out here it won't, and it has a lot to do, I guess, with sea level. But yeah, the ball just doesn't carry very well here. I saw some bombs I thought hit that didn't make it out of the ballpark.
Runner goes. And because they play hit and run, an easy double play for Fresno. So it backfires on Damon Berryhill. He made the right call, Doug. He made contact and made it strongly, but wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, the shortstop was moving and just happened to be right where the ball was hit. So maybe that's one of the reasons he's only hitting 200 against his ball club. That's just bad luck from a hitter's standpoint, but just good defense.
Bases clear now for Clint Robinson, the cleanup hitter. Easy double play.
Boy, Nick Noonan got some nice hands. I like the way he got it, just hit the bag and made a good strong throw off balance, but a good strong throw to first base.
Robinson drafted in the 25th round by Kansas City back in '07. There you see his numbers, a good season going. Drafted him out of Troy University, where he set team records for games played, at-bats, runs scored, hits, total bases, and hit by pitches.
Now, I want to tell you something. This is a man at the plate, too. This is a big fellow. Watched him take a little batting practice today. 6'5". They got him listed at 225.
Robinson, a huge year in AAA with the Omaha Royals. Batted .326, 23 homers, 100 runs batted in. Past the diving Joe Panik, another base hit. All four hitters now have hit the ball sharply off Kickham.
Well, you make a good point there, Dick. It looks like he's setting up low and down the middle, but that ball runs in to the inside and right to the power of a left-handed hitter. And he drills it to right field. We see the lines out there. We were told earlier that they play a little soccer here, Mexican soccer.
And they fill the house. So now 2 down, a man on for Alex Guerrero. Kickham might be a little bit rusty. Came off the disabled list today. Had a blister on a finger. Missed his last scheduled start. Making his 8th start of the year.
And this kid right here can hit. I saw him in spring training with the Dodgers. Came from Cuba, signed a really nice contract. Hasn't quite got to the big leagues yet, but they're grooming him to be the next second baseman up there. First time I saw him at the plate in a spring training game, he hit one a mile.
This is his first year minor league baseball in America. Already at AAA. Defected to Haiti. Eventually was cleared to enter the U.S. back in the fall.
And I'll just tell you, he's making more AAA level than I did.
He's making more AAA than most people did. Reportedly $28 million over 4 years. That tells you what the Dodgers think of him. And a $10 million signing bonus. Juan Perez cannot make the grab. And moving up is Robinson to third.
He may have it. No.
Well, he overslid the bag, but by fingernails he hangs on. Stu Sherwater, the home plate umpire, rotates down to make the call at third. Adam Schwartz at first. Ramon DeJesus working third tonight.
See that pitch out away a little bit. He does a good job just protecting the plate. A little deke by the right fielder, and then he lets the ball get away from him. When he does that, the runners move up. So we'll see if that goes as a single and an error. Oh, he held on to the bag.
He sure did. He literally held on. Guerrero moves up on the throw. So on the 4th base hit of the night for the Isotopes as Tim Fedorovich takes strike one. Runners at second and third now, 2 out. Just a moment ago, runners were clear. Or rather, bases were clear. Fedorovich sharply past Panik. That's going to score 2 runs. And it's a 4-0 game. Beg your pardon, 3. No, make it 4. They're coming around so cleanly. Or no, I've still got it wrong. 1 erased on a double play. Thank you very much.
You're just into the game, man. That's all there is to it.
They just keep hitting the ball hard.
You know, you're right, because every batter up so far, a little trip to the mound. Here's another. He's looking first pitch fastball, and that's what he gets. The ball staying out over the plate. It's running, but these guys are staying in there, not trying to pull it, but hitting the ball up the middle the opposite way.
Dwight Bernard, the pitching coach,
Grizzlies are proud to announce
for Fresno.
Exclusive hot dog at Chuck Chansey Park. Head to the concession stand.
Taken with one victory this year, and it came against these Albuquerque Isotopes, and in fact, he shut them out for 8 innings. But the Topes are getting their revenge. They already have as many hits tonight in the first inning as they had in those 8 against Kickham, who struck out 5 back on the 24th of April. Sharply hit down the right field line, but that'll find foul ground. Jamie Romack standing in.
Well, we won't call it off yet because Fresno's handled Albuquerque pretty well this year. Out of the 8 games they've played, they have won 6 of them. So tonight, Albuquerque comes out swinging the bat. And I'm kind of curious, we're going to talk a little bit about the nickname, the Isotopes.
We will indeed. Line to left. Dominguez looks up and says goodbye. A 2-run shot by Jamie Romack. And you talk about revenge.
Well, these guys have come out smoking tonight. I mean, they're getting some pitches up to hit, but even though they are still swinging the bat. We'll see where this pitch is in the strike zone. Oh, it's right down the middle of the plate. He hits it and knows that he's got it pretty good. That's home run number 10 for him.
Yep. And RBIs 24 and 25. That's a fair ball. Trayvon Robinson down the right field line through the bullpen. He's going to make a turn, and he's going to try for 3. And finally, something else goes right for Fresno here in the first. But major damage done by Albuquerque. 5 runs on 6 hits. Make it 7. No errors. Nobody left. Big lead early for the visitors on the CBS Sports Network. We are back in Fresno, California, where the Albuquerque Isotopes have jumped all over the Grizzlies. We'll take a look at how Fresno will try to answer with Gary Brown leading things off, a .316 average. Joe Panik, former player of the week in the PCL. Juan Perez, then Adam Duvall, Andrew Susac coming off a big game. Nick Noonan, then Chris Dominguez. Travis Ishikawa back down. And, of course, Mike Kickham will bat tonight. And they're going to face Carlos Frias. And here's the defense. Rather, there's a good look at Frias.
He has 2 starts, 1-1 with a 4.76. Talked to Dame Berryhill tonight. He said, you know, we're just looking for a little consistency out of some of our starting pitching. At times they look really good, but haven't been able to maintain that. So he said, tonight, I hope you're not calling my name too often as I run out to the mound.
He's a 4-pitch guy, we're told. Not a huge strikeout man, but good control of all 4 pitches. And once he got up to AAA, they said he's really blossomed. Take a look at the way Albuquerque will play defense across the outfield. Robinson, Peterson, Baxter, around the horn, Romack, Trienfeld, Guerrero, Clint Robinson, Fedorovich behind the plate, catching Carlos Frias tonight, and he is staked to a 5-run lead on 7 first-inning base hits. And boy, if not for a double play, and
there wasn't a lot of softballs hit. Those balls were all hit on the line, except with one exception. That was the 1 base hit.
A double play, and Fresno throws a man out at third. Otherwise, the Topes might still be hitting. But now Gary Brown will try to reverse things here. In the home half of the first inning, things are cooling off a little bit here in Fresno as Albuquerque was heating up. Gary Brown gets started impressively.
Brown, one of those guys that they say could play in the big leagues right now defensively. What they're trying to work on him is to get on base more. This time he does a great job, gets a fastball, or maybe it's a little cut fastball. Does a good job of hammering it up the middle. They say once he figures it out, he gets on base a whole lot more, that he's ready to go to the big leagues.
Consensus All-American at Cal State Fullerton, an outstanding baseball program. And now Joe Panik, former star at St. John's, drafted in the first round, 2011, 29th overall pick by the Giants.
One question I often get asked is, what's the difference between the game now? Fundamentals as far as hitting. These guys are bigger, stronger, and they have a better approach at the plate than we did several years ago.
Panik was the PCL Player of the Week last week ending May 4th. Quite a run that week. 13 base hits, drove in 6, scored 8. 4 straight multi-hit games.
That'll work.
At his first 4-hit game of the season. Baseball America calls him the Giants' 9th best prospect. Tore up the Big East while he was with the Red Storm. Jammed him, but past the diving Robinson. On his way to third base, Gary Brown. Runners at the corners now. Fresno with a lot of work to do, Doug, but off to a good start.
A very good start. Panik gets a pitch, looks like on the inside, as you're right, Dick, and he does get jammed right there, but hit it in a good spot, especially with the runner being held at first base. We also got a good look at Brown's speed as he rounded second, and there wasn't going to be a play. This is a pretty big ballpark too. 324 down the left field line, 335 at right, and then goes to 400, but it's deep in the alleys as well.
Now Juan Perez just sent down by San Francisco with an opportunity to put his team on the board. There you can see what he did in 5 games before he went up to the big club. Struggled up there, 1 for 21. So he'll try to catch fire again here.
Yeah, I guess when Huff came off the disabled list, they had to send him back down. So we're getting a chance to look at some kids that are been up and down and are ready to go to the big leagues if the opportunity presents itself.
Brown singled, Panik singled. Ran it in on Juan Perez. A good spot.
There's some healthy cuts being taken tonight.
Well, it's contagious, isn't it?
Yeah, it's contagious.
The guy ahead of you gets a rip. You're thinking, okay, my turn. They play Perez deep across the outfield straight away. Obviously look for the double play up the middle. Off speed and a good one by Frias. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, it looks like he's got a good cut fastball, or a good, that might have been a slider right there, but boy, it was a hard one.
Froze him.
There's the good
again.
one.
Yep.
That's the good one.
Interesting promotional night coming up on Saturday here in Fresno, as they'll give away replica rings, championship rings of the 1954 championship won by the Giants. Just sticks the bat out, gets himself.
That's a thing of beauty right there.
Perez trying for the double, and he is in with an RBI 2-base hit, and it's a 5-1 game. That doesn't get much closer to the chalk, Coach.
No, that kind of reminds you of a good tennis lob right there. But you know, he did some good 2-strike hitting. It was a nasty breaking ball. He had 2 strikes, and he was able to fight this pitch off. Or watch it, ball's breaking outside, rear ends out just a little bit, but the whole idea is just to protect the plate. He does a great job of doing that and serving it right inside the line.
3rd double of the young season in terms of AAA baseball for Perez. He has 9 base hits at this level, 3 of them doubles, 4 runs batted in now. And a 5-1 game, still nobody out.
And here's a kid we talked about the pregame show. A lot of power.
Adam Duvall, former star from the University of Louisville. PCL league leader in both home runs and RBI. Those 39 RBIs, they lead all of minor league baseball. He's tied for 3rd overall in home runs, just 1 behind. Got a good cut there.
A little sinking fastball in on his hands, and we would assume a power hitter like this likes to extend his arms a little bit. That time ran the fastball in on his hands.
Duvall 3 for 5 against Reno on Tuesday. Mighty cut there. All he lacked on Tuesday to hit the cycle was a single. Got the double, triple, and a homer, but a strikeout. And it looks like he chased a ball.
Yeah, it may have been up. You see, just a good high running fastball right there. Beats him, and there was a chance to extend that RBI lead with no outs and runners on second and third.
Andrew Susac stands in now. He had 2 homers in the win at Reno last time out. Former star from Oregon State.
Been getting a lot of catching instruction. They say he's a great prospect, of course, with Buster Posey playing in front of you. But they don't want to move him to first base. He swings the bat good, and they want him to be a catcher, so trying to get him ready and grooming him every day.
Foul ball, nice pickup by Jamie Romack at third. Yeah, they sent a message, the Giants did, when they drafted Susac. They took him in the second round. This is after the Phillies drafted him in the 11th round out of high school. And Susac, of course, goes on to play at OSU. Giants came back and gave him a $1.1 million signing bonus. So they're serious about developing this young man.
Oh, yeah.
1 out, a run in, runners at second and third. David Frias trying to work out of a jam. Gave up 3 straight hits, 2 singles, and an RBI double. As Juan Perez announced his return to Fresno in a big way. Middle infielders on the edge of the grass.
Boy, it's just a merry-go-round in the minor leagues now, isn't it? I mean, seems like a lot of guys are getting hurt. Now, who said we didn't have studs following and watching us on television?
Speaking of catchers.
Speaking of catchers. And of course, Johnny Bench just sent word in that he's watching the game, and there's an award named after him to the best college catcher that he goes out every year and presents.
It's got to be a great honor to have an award named after you. And now back-to-back strikeouts by Frias, who's bowing his neck a little bit.
See a good fastball right here. Just kind of blows it right by him. Looks like he's got a cut fastball that he's throwing right now, along with that slider, and that 2 sliders he throws, the real good one, and then one that just kind of goes down just a little bit.
Now Nick Noonan, another former #1 draft pick. San Diego native.
Boy, pounding that strike zone now.
Giants took him #1 in 07 with the overall 32nd pick. Said no thank you to Clemson, and yes please to the Giants.
Took a little something off there. Most of the times you want your catcher to be looking down to the umpire instead of your pitcher trying to ask for help.
Noonan, a .318 hitter with runners on base. Just 188 with runners in scoring position, and now straight at Peterson, but he breaks back, and that's going to score 2 runs.
Yeah, I don't know if he didn't see that ball or what, but you're right. He broke back on it as soon as the ball was hit and then just froze.
So now make it a 5-3 game. And Peterson would have had to make a nice play to catch this ball, but he had no shot after he broke the wrong way.
Well, we notice how deep they're playing in the outfield, but he goes back. Whoops. Now he knows he's made a mistake, and he evidently didn't see it. He just saw the swing of the bat.
So Noonan cashes in on the mistake. Gets 2 more RBIs. Give him 6 on the year as Chris Dominguez stands in. Another University of Louisville product.
When we saw Chris, he was a relief pitcher and a third baseman. Now they've moved him out to the outfield.
And he's played all 3 outfield spots, as the Grizzlies are a little short in the outfield department. Alex Guerrero with an easy play. And that'll do it. But Fresno breaks back. 3 runs, 4 hits, 1 left. Got a ball game going after 1. It's 5-3 Isotopes on the CBS Sports Network. Tomorrow's conversations start tonight. Get the latest word in sports on Leadoff coming up next, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, where the wind is blowing just enough to make it a very pleasant evening this evening here in Fresno. Tell you more about the farm-grown products here a little bit later on in the broadcast, and of course that includes the ball players we're watching tonight. This is Carlos Frias, the young pitcher, who's now looking at just a 5-3 advantage after 3 runs in the bottom of the first by Fresno. Frias broke back strongly. Got a couple of strikeouts and a ground ball to end things, and a tough break single that dropped into center field. And as we travel the country, bringing you minor league baseball, of course, depends on where we are, whether we see pitchers bat or not. This is the first time in the 3 weeks we've been on with you that we've seen pitchers. We were in Charlotte, North Carolina last week, home of the Chicago White Sox. Pawtucket, Rhode Island the week prior, as Frias takes called strike 3. Didn't offer much there, Coach.
I don't know what was going on there. I don't know if he felt like he got quick pitched or he just wasn't ready to swing the bat, but at that time looks like he was trying to call time, and he's going to bunt. I don't know. He just
never looked back as though to call time.
No, he just wasn't ready to swing. That was very strange.
Top of the order, Mike Baxter opened the game with a double, came around to score.
But then again, we've got pitchers hitting tonight, whereas we've been having the DH, as you've mentioned.
And you're like me, you're old school. But I finally gave up hoping that we'd ever see a return to the way baseball was when you and I were growing up. They're just, everybody's playing with a DH at every level, so why not?
Well, I think there's a lot of people, there's an argument for both sides. As you said, I'm old school, though. I like to see the guy that's throwing at you have to get up to the plate with a chance to get thrown at.
Mike Baxter began his college career at Columbia, transferred to Vanderbilt. So the one thing you know about Mike Baxter, academically, he had to be pretty strong to go from Columbia to Vandy, where he played in an outstanding program developed by Tim Corbin down there. 4th round pick by the Padres in '05.
We're seeing a little better location right now by Kickham. That was a nasty breaking ball that somehow Baxter laid off of.
But they're still hitting him hard. Second hit of the night in as many innings for Mike Baxter. And now Carlos Trienfeld, RBI single his last time up.
Yeah, that time he threw him a couple of nasty pitches. He laid off of it.
Shortstop, Carlos.
This time he comes back with the hanger. You can see he keeps his weight back. He's got that foot in the air, but keeps those hands back. Just a great job of hitting right there. That's what good hitters do to hang and breaking balls.
You just don't see him enough.
Well, don't look at me when you talk about good hitters either. So.
You brought it up. I'm not saying anything.
No, you're right. I will not argue that.
You hit .238 in the major leagues, but you did it in the major leagues. I'm still waiting for my opportunity. I'm not giving up yet.
I went in to talk to Jerry Koosman one time. He said, what are you going to tell me? The only thing you know about pitching is that it's hard to hit.
You didn't say something snarky like, I'm getting tired of chasing these balls?
No, not to Jerry Koosman.
Good
I turned
man.
around and walked back out to second base.
He's a big fella, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Good cut by Trienfeld.
Well, it's obvious not too many guys are getting fooled. And he's got a flat breaking ball. He doesn't have a real sharp breaking ball tonight, which he must have had the first time they faced each other. Tonight it's kind of hanging out over the plate.
Kickham clearly not himself with regard to the way he faced Albuquerque last time out. Be curious to see, first of all, how long he goes tonight, and secondly, if he gets sharper as the night goes on. I suspect he will, as we said, coming off the DL. Isotopes reached him for 5 in the first. And with 1 out, a man aboard here in the second.
Good look at Damon Berryhill. Fine catcher, 10 years in the big leagues.
First year managing here in Albuquerque. Or for Albuquerque, I should say, as we're here in Fresno. Home of the Grizzlies, who snapped the 3-game losing streak at Reno. Dropped the first 3 games of that series. Grizzlies stumbling after a 9-game winning streak, which was their longest winning streak since back in 1998. Good off-speed pitch.
Yep. And maybe the best one he's thrown right there.
1430 Kino K.
And it helped him retire a dangerous hitter, and now 2 outs and the second strikeout of the inning.
Center fielder, Josh.
Well, when you see him throw that breaking ball like that, you like to see him throw it to that back foot. Hard pitch to lay off of. Especially when these guys have come out as aggressive as they've been tonight.
Now Jock Peterson.
That's unusual,
I
isn't
was
it?
about to say.
That's a good way to bust that slump, man. You're struggling hitting against the team. Try to drop one down. Of course, with 2 outs, you'd like to see him hit a double. That way it scores a run instead of waiting for somebody else to do it, especially when you're hitting in the 3rd spot and you're as good a hitter as this kid is.
Peterson with a brother, Tyler, also in the Dodgers system. And he hammers that one to deep right field. Juan Perez simply looks up and watches it leave Chukchansi Park. And a 2-run blast for Jock Peterson. And a 7-3 lead. Second home run of the night for the Isotopes.
I thought they said it didn't jump in this ballpark. Man.
Peterson made that one jump.
Just a little bit about the power. Oh, there's a fastball right up in his wheelhouse. And Kickham has thrown a lot of balls that are right there. And you think he knows it after he hits it?
Peterson with his 12th home run, 24 runs batted in now. And he's just one back of Adam Duvall for the PCL lead, at least a share of it.
Keep an eye on Kickham and see how he's getting that ball out of his glove. See if he's keeping it in there a little bit long where he really doesn't have time to get a lot of drive. Mechanics are so important, especially at this level where you're trying to get them just right so that when you do get to the big leagues, but you don't have to work on them as much. Down here is where you try to get them. He does keep it in that glove a long time, and I'm sure that's something that Dwight Bernard will take a look at.
Kickham drafted in 2010, first player from that class to reach the majors, making his 80th career minor league start. Got up to the bigs a year ago this month. Made an appearance against Oakland. Taken in the 6th round in 2010 at Missouri State, where he broke the single season strikeout record that year. Had 103 strikeouts.
Well, you watch him now. He'll take that ball in his glove, and then he's moving forward, almost drifting towards home plate, so he's not really getting a lot. Well, a little mix-up right there, but it was going to be a base hit anyway.
Looks like that one came off the plate, if not the hard dirt right in front of it. We watched them work this infield this afternoon for quite some time. Absolutely meticulous.
Second baseman Alex Guerrero.
It's got to be pretty hard after this sun baked it all day.
Not only that, they drug the field and then they rolled the field. So I would say that it is a very fast infield. And that one looked like it hit off the plate. Now you have Guerrero up, already hit. And boy, good cut right there.
Yeah, he was trying to match Peterson, it looked like. It looked like Kickham had kicked whatever was holding him back in this game. Had a couple of strikeouts this inning, sandwiched around a base hit, but then the 2-run shot by Peterson, another single by Clint Robinson. 10 base hits now for the Isotopes.
Well, he's been behind a lot in the count, and then when he has to come in with a pitch, they haven't missed one yet.
Guerrero on the Dodgers 25-man opening day roster. Made his major league debut as a pinch hitter officially March 22nd of this year, but they called him back. They had announced him, and then the Diamondbacks changed pitchers, so they pinch hit for the pinch hitter Guerrero. And he goes high and deep to center field. Gary Brown racing back, and he won't get it. The second 2-run shot of this inning, the third of the game.
Well, this is amazing for a ballpark that's not supposed to carry. I'd hate to see the ones that do. But these guys are laying some solid thunder on this thing.
And this is to the deepest part of the ballpark, 400 feet plus.
You know, that's a pitch. It's a breaking ball, and oh, you can see it. It's right in his wheelhouse. Looked like it was a little bit out over the plate, but little action going on down there now is Brett Bochy getting loose.
You know, you got a good look there, obviously, at Guerrero and that little leg cock before you went yard. And it was interesting talking last week in Charlotte to Vance Law, the roaming hitting instructor for the White Sox. And he talked about the fact that a lot of guys are doing that now. And if he had his way, as we get a good look at Tim Fedorovich, and by the way, a little bit of a shift on as they pull the infield a little farther to the left than normal. But Law told us, there you see it. You see Travis Ishikawa well off the line off first base, and Joe Panik almost up the middle. But Law said he's not going to make guys, if they're successful, he's not going to make them stop with a leg kick in the White Sox chain. But he said you've just got a lot going on, and you've got to be that much more accurate. You've almost got to be perfect when you set that front foot down. But
well, it's a timing mechanism.
Guerrero set it down with authority.
Yeah, I watched him at spring training, and I told you he looked like just a great prospect. Of course, all the rumors were going around about how much that he had signed for. But it's a timing mechanism. But here's one thing that you don't see as well. You've got these guys that are out raking out hits. Right now they have 11 hits. Have you seen one person thrown close to yet?
Nope.
And you wonder, is there a reason for that? And I mean, at some point in time, you've got to establish some part of that plate.
Well, he did run it in on Fedorovich and got his third strikeout of the inning. But not before, once again, the Topes do a lot of damage. A pair of 2-run bombs, one by Jock Peterson and one by Alex Guerrero. It's a 9-3 game. The Isotopes lead it on the CBS Sports Network. Back in Fresno, California, Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, glad to have you along with us on our minor league baseball game of the week here on the CBS Sports Network. And we're always interested when we get to the minor league park to see what's different, what's unique. Well, behind the batter's eye is the homegrown garden. This is tended by one of the local high schools, and a lot of the vegetables they raise here are sold at the farmers market they have here inside the ballpark every week. And of course, produce and farming is a great part of the Central California culture here, and you see that's where they're going to sell a lot of these vegetables, and they bring in some of the local farmers' wares and come in and have a big time with that in front of the windmill there. So you also see the raisin sign. Fresno is the raisin capital of the USA. You see that the moment you get off the plane.
It's the most exciting I've ever seen you since I've known you.
Well,
you coming here, you've always been a raisin fan, a raisin eater.
I am a big raisin fan. The California raisins I just love.
That's all you've talked about for a month. Since we got the schedule, we were coming here.
I was hoping they'd greet us at the airport, but still, I'm just excited to be here. No, I've never been to Fresno, and it's just a really interesting ballpark. But that's what we love about the minor league game of the week, is that we see great baseball and we see the great prospects, and then we get to see the really interesting ballparks and what they have to offer. And now Travis Ishikawa, speaking of interesting, an interesting young man. He's already played in the Brewers, Orioles, Yankees, and Pirates chain. Taken in the 21st round of the 02 Major League Draft. Out of high school. Made his debut with the Giants in 06. Got up to the big club in 09 full time. Right side to Guerrero. And for the first time tonight, an uneventful leadoff man.
You can see a little bit why they like Guerrero. Got good feet. Very steady. And it is a very fast infield. That ball got to him pretty quick, but well, just good fundamentals.
And a pinch hitter.
Your attention, please. For the Grizzlies, pitch hitting for Michael Kickham.
So Kickham's done.
Edwin
Villegas will bat with a 174 average. So Kickham's first start after missing with a blister does not go well. Giving up 9 runs and 11 base hits. And as Doug mentioned, the bullpen alive for Fresno. Villegas 0 for 3 with a strikeout in the last game. Got a base hit last on the 5th of May at Albuquerque. Trienfeld scoops and throws, and there are 2 out.
Pretty. They look pretty solid up the middle. Good range, good strong arm. Not that I'm partial to these infielders.
Center fielder, Gary Brown.
Dominate the routine play.
It's the name of the game at every level.
So back to the top of the order now for Fresno, and Gary Brown, who singled back in the first inning, came around to score. And that sounds simple, but as you've pointed out so many times, oftentimes players try to make plays more difficult at all levels.
Well, it depends if it's on TV or not. And I think that has a lot to do, social media, as many games as they play on TV, looking for the da-da-da, da-da-da.
Yep.
The guys find a way to make the play look a little bit tougher.
Off the end of the bat. Peterson tracks this one, and how about this? A 1-2-3 inning, finally. As we end the second, we'll go to the top of the third. Albuquerque leading at 9-3 here in Fresno. Minor league game of the week on the CBS Sports Network. Back in Fresno, Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, where Albuquerque has gone for first 5 and then in the second 4 and leads at 9-3. Delighting the Dodger fans who are here. The Giants fans, who are fans of the hometown Grizzlies, are a little concerned. They've got a new pitcher on the mound, Brett Bochy. Pitched last on the 11th at Reno in an inning, struck out 2. So he'll try to cool off these isotope bats. Jamie Romack will stand in. Joined now in our booth by Derek Franks, Vice President of Sales for Fresno. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about this ballpark. You got a little bit of everything here, don't you?
Yeah, we really do, and we're really proud of that. The ballpark's been here since 2002. We're really proud to have added the first new structure to the ballpark. Down the left field line, our ag zone was completed this year. So a big monument to the Central Valley agriculture, thanks to Gar and Esther Titillion Foundation.
Number 21.
You've got the
left
garden behind
fielder, Trayvon Robinson.
the batter's eye, which feeds into that too, doesn't it?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, we've got a community garden that a local charter school takes care of as a school project. Down the left field side there, along the fence line, we've got grape vines that are growing.
No, you don't.
Yeah, we absolutely do. Yeah.
Hello.
Well, you know, that's where raisins come from.
That's right. Did your homework. That's great.
You better go out and check them, because my man may have been out there earlier today with a few in his pocket.
I did hear.
There they are.
I did hear a security call earlier about that, so thanks.
Now, if you get a good look at, as I said, you've got a little bit of everything. You got a swimming pool out there as well. Now, tell me the truth. On a hot day like today, do you tell people you got a business meeting and you grab the trunks and head on out there?
I think that's the only reason we have anybody out there. Everyone lied today to be able to get out there today. Yep. That's a hot ticket for us. Obviously, the weather's warm, and that's a hot item for us. Once we get past April. Oh, wow.
I hope he gets to keep the bat.
That was a nice play.
He does indeed. That guy made a clean catch of that bat. Now, he got a break. It did bounce off the dugout. Whoops. Wow.
Bounce. Nice. Oh, clean
nice
too.
camera work, guys. Outstanding work. Yes. Hey, there.
What if that was your lucky bat and you'd had like a
That's
big
what I was
hitting
gonna
streak
ask
going
you.
on? Well, normally they go over and they'll give them another bat, a new one, and take their game bat back.
We'll keep an eye on it. Maybe they will. He earned that. Or did you set that up? Is that some kind of marketing ploy?
That's what you get in minor league baseball. That's another marketing piece we put together.
Well, and that brings up another good question. Just what we love about going around the country and seeing these ballparks is the creativity. You know, and I know that minor league executives meet and you guys talk a lot about, well, here's what we're doing here and there, but a lot of the stuff you do is unique to your area.
Right, absolutely. We, we touched on the agriculture, so that's really a regional piece that we want to, memorialize here at the ballpark. But yeah, a lot of times it's not as much about who's playing, but what the promotion is. We're fortunate tonight. We've got the Dodger-Giant rivalry here, which is nice, but a lot of other things going on, obviously.
Stick around, Derek. We're going to take a break. 3 up, 3 down, nothing across, and we will go to the bottom of the third. It's still 9-3 here in Fresno on the CBS Sports Network. They are having fun here at the ballpark at Chukchansi Park here in Fresno, California, where we're watching the Albuquerque Isotopes and the Fresno Grizzlies. Tell us about your mascot there. This is Derek Franks, the Vice President for Sales, and the kids seem to like him.
Oh, he's a hit. We'll take him to trips to the Children's Hospital and things like that, and our players will go with him. And I've had instances where the kids and the staff think that the players are the handlers for the mascot, and I think they sort of feel like they're playing second fiddle to Parker sometimes. He's so famous here in Fresno.
You have got a great promotion coming up Saturday. We mentioned it, championship rings, but also the uniforms. I haven't mentioned those. Tell us what's going on Saturday.
Saturday, we've got the 1954 throwback night. Both clubs will wear throwback to the New York days. The New York Giants, Brooklyn Dodgers will play here. And we're doing a 1954 replica World Series Giants ring. The Giants gave the same one away a week or so ago, and we're lucky enough to partner with them to bring that giveaway down to Fresno as well. So if anybody missed that up there, they can come here, or it saved the Fresno folks a trip up to the Bay Area. So we're pretty proud of that, and we know we'll have a great crowd.
Have the advanced sales been good? I was going to ask you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. We will likely sell out that game. It's on pace to be a big crowd, and we're looking forward to it.
You know, the minor leagues present a lot of really fun things to do. You mentioned it earlier. It's almost like going to see a fight and a hockey game broke out. It's like coming to some entertainment, and then a baseball game happens to be going on. But It's a lot different than big leagues, but I've always appreciated, having spent 3 years playing in the minor leagues, it's a lot better now because you do a lot more to entertain the people.
Right. You know, when I was on my way up here, I walked past the concourse, and it's ladies' night tonight as well, so there's ladies having pedicures, manicures on the concourse. I got past that, and I walked past a zombie.
Yes, we saw the zombies.
Saw the zombies.
And he was pretty good. I gave him a smile and a nod, and zombies don't smile and nod, so he was pretty good.
Well, then you know it's a real zombie.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you saw it, because for a while there I thought I was the only one who saw it. So what is it about zombies anymore? I know Walking Dead was big on that. Juan Perez stands in now after the ground ball by Joe Panik. We're talking to Derek Franks, who's the vice president for sales here in Fresno, and you're wearing your tag, your ID tag, your original ID tag. How long have you been with the ball club?
I'm very fortunate for this to be my 11th season with the Fresno Grizzlies. I'm sort of an oddity in minor league baseball. This is my hometown. I grew up in Fresno. I went to Fresno State, and I've been able to work in my hometown for my club going on 10 years, 11 seasons. And a lot of the guys I know in minor league baseball have moved around quite a bit, had to go where the next opportunity is. So I'm completely, I remind myself, and I tell that to everybody so that I remind myself how lucky I am to be in my hometown doing what I love. I'm extremely lucky and fortunate to be here.
Talk a little bit, if you would, about the rivalry between not just the Giants and Dodgers, but Albuquerque and Fresno. This is great.
This is fantastic. You know, they realigned the divisions 2 years ago, or prior to last season. So we were on we weren't on a schedule where the Dodger Giant affiliate played. We would play them on the road or them here. It was every other year we got to see the Dodgers affiliate. And for us being right in the middle of LA and San Francisco, it's really Giants territory, but the Dodgers fans are well represented. And for us to be able to do, play off the rivalry and draw both fan bases out, it really adds a lot to our promotional calendar and our ability to make it fun. And so we love the rivalry between, and that's building now with Albuquerque and Fresno. And we see a lot of blue come out, which is great.
I think it's good for the game. And these are kids that are going to be playing against each other on the next level. And boy, there's some good talent out here we've seen already. We were talking a little bit about some of the kids that they have high hopes for, who've already been to the big leagues, but except for maybe like a Buster Posey being there, then you got to stay here in the minor leagues and play another year until you get it right.
Right, absolutely. And we've got some exciting players. The Grizzlies definitely do. Some up-and-comers. Joe Panik has been hot. Yep. He's a great prospect. So it's great. The Dodgers have a lot of great prospects here tonight that will be big leaguers eventually.
I was going to ask you about that because Doug and I started preparing for these minor league games. He said, you know, a lot of the prospects are at Double-A and they jump up. We have seen tremendous prospects at Triple-A, and not just the guys who have come back down and are working their way back up. That's great for you. I mean, you can really sell a better product, can't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, the Giants had 2 World Series runs there in 3 years, and we had about 17 guys on that initial roster in 2010 that either played here on a rehab, but a lot of those guys came through here on their way up.
Boy, we saw that. Lincecum and Kane and Posey and a lot of the guys.
Yeah, we had
Romo.
Bumgarner, Romo, yeah.
Yeah. Did you go up to the game yesterday by any chance?
No. We were getting ready for this thing here today, and as you can tell by our field, we had a soccer match yesterday.
Yep.
So
Adam Duvall at the plate, and we were marveling. Doug and I call Lexington, Kentucky home, and you've got 2 from the University of Louisville on the same roster. They're still teammates. Duvall, one of them, and that's what he does best, isn't it?
He's been hot. Very on a roll.
Yeah, I tell you, he uses all the field, it looks like. It's fun to watch. You see a hitter that good. Trying to find a place for him. That's just hard to do, but I tell you what, if you can hit, they'll find a place in the big leagues for you.
Right. Talking with Derek Franks, who is the director of sales here at Chukchansi Park. Chukchansi, is that right? Chukchansi, yes. So it's one of the more unique names in minor league baseball. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the broadcast with Andrew Susac at the plate, it's a nod to the Native American population in this part of the state.
Absolutely. The Chukchansi tribe has been a great supporter of the club, obviously a great supporter of the city of Fresno, and have given a lot back to many different many different efforts in the community, and this being obviously the biggest give back and helping us keep AAA baseball here in Fresno is very important.
And you see that name Chukchansi really all over town, don't you? Not just here at the ballpark.
Right, absolutely.
Different business ventures get off speed pitch by Frias, including a casino, which has been successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Casino and a full resort, spa, and really you can do anything you really want up at the Chukchansi Resort and Casino.
Now you guys have had the best of the Isotopes for a while. You're pretty hot right now against Albuquerque.
Right.
Tonight notwithstanding. And that's going to do it for this inning. Derek, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
You
Appreciate
bet.
you
Best of
coming
luck
in to
the rest of the year.
One left on base, and we go to the top of the fourth, still 9-3. Minor League Baseball has long been known for great hats, logos, and fan passion, and now it's your chance to express that passion in Clash of the Caps. Now through May 21st, go to MILB.com/Clash of the Caps and cast your vote for your favorite Caps in minor league baseball.
Duke's Barbecue is here at Chukchansi Park by section 128.
Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn here at Chukchansi Park. Wonderful evening for baseball here in Fresno, California. And we've seen a lot of offense already. 12 runs and 16 hits. Albuquerque leading Fresno 9-3 here in the top of the fourth inning. And you see the sun setting. It's cooling off, still in the low 90s, but a great night for baseball. Thanks again to Derek Franks for stopping in and sharing some information about the ballpark.
After we get through this inning, we're going to have a guest on here. I'm going to ask him if he'd be throwing anybody up and tight if they were hitting him like that.
Coming up, one of the great athletes in the history of this city, Jim Maloney, a former big leaguer. We'll talk to him in our next half inning.
Saw his picture down under the stadium.
How about that?
Really?
You got a text from a Hall of Famer, Johnny Bench.
Who caught Jim Maloney.
And you got Jim Maloney sitting right next to you. We'll talk to him very shortly.
He's a local boy, so he can give us a little history about this place.
Isotopes going back to work, trying to extend a 9-3 lead. Mike Baxter, 2 for 2 on the night, has scored a couple of runs. Absolutely gotten the job done as a leadoff man. Double in the first, single in the second.
Well, Bochy's job right now is just to try to hold them as close as he can. So, because we know they got a pretty good offense. Right now, everybody's just a little bit off the plate.
And if you're just joining us, Mike Kickham came back after missing a start with a blister on one of his pitching fingers. And Mike Baxter on base again with a leadoff walk. Through 8 scoreless innings his last start, that was against Albuquerque. Gave up 5 hits and struck out 5, but tonight they raked him for 9 runs and 11 hits.
That's the first walk so far. But you lead off
all that offense. Yeah,
really.
First walk.
Nobody wants to walk. They want to swing the bat.
Now Carlos Trienfeld, RBI single, struck out his last time up there swinging at the first pitch, and why not?
Well, that's something you don't see a lot anymore. A guy walk on 3 or 4 straight pitches, and the next guy goes up and swings at the first pitch. A lot of times, of course, with a 9-3 lead right now, they've got the green light. They're free swinging at anything they see.
Good look at Bochy. He has given up just 2 runs over his last 7 games, total of 11 innings pitched. Now make it 12. Off speed. Now he's ahead in the count. .45 games with Fresno last year. ERA just under 4. He'll try to soak up some innings here. Bullpen quiet.
This is one of those nasty jobs that you got to do in the game. Your team gets behind, and your job is to go in. And of course, what you're doing is you're helping yourself too. Because if you look good, then it might get you in a spot where they'll move you in a place where you're a little more important in the game than just trying to hold your team in it.
Bochy 6'2", 200 pounds. Trienfeld extending the at-bat, but still behind in the count 0-2. Bochy, a native of San Diego, played his college ball at Kansas. He's a sometime starter through his career. All his appearances this year have been in relief. Back on the 5th at Albuquerque. Went 1 inning. They reached him for a run on 2 hits.
Well, good at bat right now by Trienfeld.
But he gets him with the off-speed stuff. Soft away, and down he goes.
Well, he just kept making better pitches and better pitches. And
Number 3, center field.
Now Jock Peterson, and this is what happened the last time he was up. He took a mighty cut and sent it into the Fresno night. 2-run shot just past the scoreboard.
boy, some kind of year he's having. And you wonder how long they're going to keep him down on the farm.
I was just thinking that. Awesome numbers. You had to wonder about the young man out on that manual scoreboard. His name is Kenneth. And he's out there juggling the numbers. Wonder how close that home run ball came to him.
You know, it's nice to see they kept a little bit of old flavor here in the ballpark.
Yep.
Big, nice electric scoreboard. And then you got the old kind. Ooh.
Boy, he pulled the string and then pulled it again, didn't he?
Yeah, and then he looked like he might have pulled a back muscle too, trying to swing so hard.
Had to look like a beach ball.
See, that's the time when guys are free swinging that much. You wonder when it's going to be time to throw inside. Good look at the old scoreboard.
Tough luck for Peterson on that pitch, but
Ball ran inside a little bit, but still not the one we were talking about.
Peterson hit the ball hard in the first inning, right up the middle on hit and run, as the Isotopes started a runner, but he winds up bouncing into a 6-3 double play. Part of the 2-inning massacre of Mike Kickham's return.
We're trying to go upstairs with him. And you see the catcher setting that mitt not on the corner. Looks like he's setting it right down the middle of the plate. And that's where most of the pitches have been tonight so far.
Count remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. Peterson battling against Brett Bochy. Now he wants to think about it.
Yep, this one where he's going to try to throw him that breaking ball. Looks like down the dirt, maybe get him to chase.
So we'll see what Bochy dials up. Try to run it in on him.
Probably a little higher than what he'd like to have it. When we get Jim on him, we'll get him to on the air. We'll get him to analyze these pitchers a little bit.
2-2 pitch to Peterson. Now make it 3-2. He battles back against Brett Bochy. Went 2 scoreless innings back on the 7th against the El Paso Chihuahuas.
Don't you love the nicknames in minor league ball?
They're the best. The Isotopes are right up there. Great story behind that decision. I'll tell you about that in just a few minutes. So now the count full. Runner goes. Not the best of throws by Susac, and that's going to go as an error as Mike Baxter chugs into third base. But another strikeout, back-to-back whiffs now. And a dangerous hitter goes down. That's 4 strikeouts now for Bochy. Man at third, 2 outs for Clint Robinson.
Number 44, first baseman.
Yeah, Susac.
There's a grip problem right here. Susac doesn't throw like this.
No, I mean, that ball was cutting all the way. He just didn't have a good grip on it. But you see he comes up and looks like he's in pretty good throwing position, but obviously didn't have a good grip on the ball.
Clint Robinson, a pair of singles, has scored a couple of runs. Bochy takes a little something off of it. Changing speeds now really well.
Well, he's come in and done a nice job. It's a big Rascals we talked about early, and he's got a couple of pitches that he's hit very hard. There's one he just missed. Fouling it straight back. Talking to himself now. Yeah, 6'5", as we said, 225 pounds.
Robinson traded by Kansas City to Pittsburgh at the end of 2012. And then in the spring of 2013, claimed by Toronto. Into that season, signed a minor league deal with the Dodgers. And he's having a good year in Albuquerque so far. Jammed him, and it looks like it's going to work. Nick Newman. And that'll do it for the Isotopes here in the top of the 4th inning. So we'll go to the bottom of the 4th after back-to-back scoreless innings. 9-3 Isotopes on the CBS Sports Network.
Without your front-facing camera phones.
Back in Fresno talking about the Giants and the Dodgers, and now here in the booth with us with my friend, the former Cincinnati Red, Doug Flynn, another former Cincinnati Red and a pride of Fresno. This is Jim Maloney, Major League veteran, member of the Fresno Athletic Hall of Fame. Thanks for coming up to visit with us and tell us a little bit about your career.
Well, I started with Cincinnati in 1959. I signed a contract with the Reds, and they sent me off to Topeka, Kansas. It was a Class B league at that time. They had done away with all those lower classification leagues, but I spent a year there. Johnny Vandermeer, double no-hit, was my manager.
Wow.
Wow.
And the next year I went to Nashville, which was the Double-A Southern Association, and got off to a good start there. And won 14 games there in about a little more than 3 months, and the Reds brought me up, and since 1960 I spent the next 10 years there, so I was fortunate to stay in one team.
Well, when you pitch no-hitters, they like that. You pitched 2. How did that happen?
Well, I guess you just close your eyes and throw it. I don't.
Now, I want to tell you, we've already heard from Johnny Bench watching this. There's a base hit right there by Noonan. But Johnny's already called and said the best right-handed pitcher he ever saw. And there's a lot of stories that go on with that. One being Johnny respects you so much because you broke one of his cups and almost broke his toe.
Yeah, but tell the rest of that story, though, about what the pitch was that Mr. Maloney allegedly threw.
I'll tell the version, and Jim can correct me, but supposedly you had started experimenting with one wet and one up. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
Yeah, that's true.
And you.
I was about 28 years old, and Bench was his first year. He was 19 years old.
Yeah, and he told you that you didn't need a sign for it. Is that correct? Just throw it and he'd catch it?
Yeah, we went over the signs before the game, and I said, hey, John, I'm coming up with this pitch, you know, and so you're going to need a sign to catch it because threw it hard and it'd come up there and just drop out of the sky, really. And
There's just a little added moisture.
That's right.
And I mean, this is a guy that throws in the mid to upper 90s.
Right.
Yeah, he said, you throw it and I'll catch it.
Not so much.
He wasn't too sure of himself, was he?
Jamie Romack makes the play and a runner moves up and there's one out.
So?
Yeah, so I said, okay, so I didn't want to throw it with a guy on base or something like that. So I went and got 2 outs, nobody on, and Bench called for a fastball. And so I had it loaded up and I threw it. When he jumped up, went down, hit him in the toe. Down he goes, you know, made a big noise. And so anyway, threw me another ball. And next inning, I got him out. But in the next inning, same thing. So it was 2 outs. And he called for a fastball. I had it loaded up. He didn't know it. And I threw it, and he went up and raised up. And the ball broke down and hit him in the cup, broke it in half. Down he goes on all 4s. And he's moaning and groaning there. And I walked over there, and he didn't say anything or anything. So umpire threw me a ball, and I see he was getting his wind back. So I walked around and went to the mound, and as I turned around, there's JB right there, standing right in front of me with a mask on top of his helmet. And he says, "I think I need a sign for that pitch."
The great Jim Maloney. He's in the Reds Hall of Fame. And, you know, a lot of these kids today, as there's a rocket hit to short.
Trienfeld with a nice pick.
Boy, nice play. He looked to third as if he had a chance, but there was no chance, and was able to make a good play over to first. Jim, we hear a lot today about all these pitchers are on pitch counts. Back in the day when you were throwing, no such thing, was it?
No, not really. You know, my average pitch count for 9 innings was anywhere from 115 to 140.
Wow.
You know, it all depends. I struck out a lot of guys, so a lot of guys foul balls off, so I had a high pitch count that way. Plus, I was a little wild, you know, once in a while.
First pitch swinging, and that'll do it. We're going to ask you a little bit more about your career in Fresno, this great city in baseball. But one man stranded. We go to the 5th. It's still 9-3 Albuquerque on the CBS Sports Network.
Your Fresno Grizzlies.
Back at Chukchansi Park in Fresno, California, where the home team getting roughed up a little bit, down 9-3 to the Albuquerque Isotopes. And we're talking with Jim Maloney, former Cincinnati Red, among other teams, and a member of the Fresno Hall of Fame, Fresno Athletic Hall of Fame. And when you come to this ballpark, there's your picture up by the front gate. How does that feel, and how does that take you back, I've got to think?
Well, that cost me about $150 a year. But I don't know. Dick Ellsworth and I, Dick, we played pro contract about the same time, and he was a pitcher and I played shortstop, but I pitched a little bit, and he signed with the Cubs, and then I signed. But anyway, when we got out of baseball, they put us both in 1972, I think it was, or 70.
That's what amazed me reading your plaque. That the high school team for which you played, and Ellsworth, oh my goodness, there's a rocket by Guerrero.
Man.
How about a second home run of the night for Alex Guerrero, and it's a 10-3 lead by Albuquerque. Your Fresnos are getting hammered tonight, Coach.
Yeah, that's I never saw anybody get hit hard like the left-hander that the Grizzlies started kick him. He had to be hurting or something wrong with him.
They're coming off that injury, yes, but when you lay it in there like that, Bochy, I think, just lost it a little bit.
That kid right there, Jim, signed. He came from Cuba and was at big league camp with the Dodgers. We talked about his power. He hit a home run against the Reds in spring training, and they're just waiting, I guess, for a place to get him. But he's hit 2 bombs tonight, straight away center, and then that one to left field. But he looks good. When you came up, you were a Stan Musial fan, though, weren't you?
Yeah, I wanted to be like Stan, and I had his number in Little League 6, and I wanted to hit like him. He had a corkscrew, sort of a funky type stance. And anyway, I went all the way through high school and on up, and I was a big fan of his. I collected all the sports magazines and stuff, and, you know, that they wrote on Stan and everything. And I was real fortunate, Doug, to the last day that Stan Musial retired in St. Louis at Sportsman's Park, I got to pitch against him the last day.
Wow.
So,
wow.
That was cool.
Yeah, I've heard you tell the story. What has this ballpark meant to this community?
Well, they started at Fresno State when they got AAA. This has been a giant hotbed, low Class A ball for many, many years. And when Fresno went AAA, they started at the Fresno State. And they had to have so many seats. Then they got this thing to go downtown, and you can see it's a beautiful, beautiful minor league ballpark.
Just terrific. In his tracks, Gary Brown retires Tim Fedorovich, and there's one out.
And you and your lovely wife Lynn are grace us with your presence at our tournament, which is coming up very soon. And so we'll see you in Lexington, Kentucky. And you, between your fishing and golfing, I noticed you've been back a bunch to do some stuff for the Reds Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And, do you come out here much to these games?
I make about 3-4 games a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And usually early in the year, like now, the temperature should be about like 70, 65.
That's
or
what
so.
we thought.
They rolled out
You
the
brought it
triple
in with you,
digits
wherever
for
you
us.
came from. I don't know.
Jamie Romack had a 2-run homer back in the first inning. We were
Man.
talking to the director of sales for Fresno about the fact that it seems like anymore most of your prospects, or you hear they're in AA. There are a lot of terrific prospects at the AAA level, not just guys doing rehab and hoping to get back up to the majors. There's some great future players at this level.
There always has been, and the Giants, they'll start with a real good team here, and then guys go down up at the big league level, and they shift them back and forth, and then next thing you know, they don't have much of a ball club. You know,
Yep.
and that's sort of been their deal. But these guys go back and forth, and they do good. I mean, they come up and they do the job. You know, and there's Matt Cain and Lipscomb and all of them. All those people have come through Fresno.
Wow.
It's a good baseball town, isn't it?
Yeah, it always has been.
Sticking his bat out, but into the mitt of Gary Brown. And there's 2 out.
How many years were you in the minors?
Oh, a year and a half. I spent 1 year in Topeka,
Number 21,
maybe a little better
left
half year in
fielder,
Nashville, then I came
Robinson.
up. So about a year and a half.
Got your first start against the Cardinals? Stan Musial?
Yeah, you have to bring that one up, yeah.
Well, just real quickly, how'd that go for you?
No, not too good. I was nervous and everything else, and I got out there and I threw one pitch to the first guy was Kurt Flood, and he hit a home run. That was my first game. Second hitter was Julian Javier. Threw the first pitch to him. He hit a double off the left field wall. Third hitter was Musial. I threw the first pitch to him. He hit a double off the right field wall. Now I've only thrown 3 pitches. I give up 1 run. I got a man on second. 2 runs. I give a man on second. Then that fourth hitter was Ken Boyer. I throw 1 pitch to him. He hit a home run. Fred Hutchinson, the manager, came out. I couldn't even look at him in the eye. He came out and he asked Edwards. Edwards was catching at that time, and John Edwards. And he said, what kind of stuff does Maloney have out here today? Edwards says, hey, Skip, I don't know. I haven't even caught one yet.
But it all worked out for the best. 10 years in the bigs, and as we said, a couple of no-hitters, and you played with the guys who were just the grassroots of the Big Red Machine. You
Right.
played with Pete Rose and
Right.
Johnny and Tony Perez.
Right. I was fortunate to play with Frank Robinson
Yeah.
for 5 years.
Wow.
And,
Veda?
Veda Pinson was a great ball player. And when I first came up, Wally Post and Gus Bill took me under their wing, and which was real nice. And they, I sort of learned what the rules were and
Number
what have
40,
you at that level. But I was scared to
Carlos
death, and you
Correa.
shut up and follow directions. When Bench came up, 19 years old, he took over right at that age. He could do it. You could tell
Your
he was
boy's
for
watching
stardom.
tonight.
That's right.
He's
Oh, is
staying
he?
up- Yeah, he's watching tonight.
Oh,
He said,
man, I better not say too much about him.
well, he spoke very highly of you. He's already written in and said best right-hander he ever saw.
Well, that's nice of him. He was a wonderful, wonderful, great ball player, and great offensive ball player, and defensive player.
And he sings pretty well.
Huh?
He sings pretty well.
That's right. I don't know about that one.
Trayvon
He sounds
Robinson.
like he sounded like Frank Sinatra's brother, not Sinatra.
Trayvon Robinson draws the walk, and now Carlos Frias at the plate. I say that just because in some of the charity events I've attended, both he and Mr. Flynn here have gotten up on stage. You've seen him.
Yeah,
But,
I have.
But Johnny does a lot of work for charity now.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, we and that'll be here very, very shortly, and Jim will be coming in. We're always happy to have you come to Lexington, Kentucky, and we're glad to be able to come to your hometown here in Fresno and do this ball game. This is really exciting for us, and exciting, we hope, for minor league baseball. And there's the pitcher.
Got his contact after a couple of strikeouts. Jim, thank you so much.
Thank you very
Good
much.
to see
My
you
pleasure.
as always.
Dougie, I'll see you in a month. Huh?
You got it, buddy.
All right, buddy.
The great
Thank you,
Jim
Al.
Maloney visiting with us today. And Alex Guerrero with his second home run of the night makes it a 10-3 game. Minor League Game of the Week action here on the CBS Sports Network. They're trying to get it rolling here in Fresno. See what I did there? But the Grizzlies are down 10-3 here as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. And you can get the latest news, stats, scores, schedules, video highlights from every minor league team at MILB.com, the official website of Minor League Baseball. Follow baseball's top prospects and experience more of what makes minor league baseball great for the whole family. Visit MILB.com today, and that right there is what makes it fun for the whole family. Great promotions in game and great talent. It's always fun to visit with former minor leaguers, a guy who got to the bigs and made the most of his opportunity. Jim Maloney coming by, and now a member of the community here, and at one point the director of the Alcoholism and Drug Council here in Fresno, giving back to the community. And there's a good spot to watch the ball game. Not just a few steps from the swimming pool out there in left center field. Doug and I will be heading out there as soon as the game's over.
You know, I think I have my Speedo with me, but I don't think I'm going to wear that.
Thank you, Dick. Thank you. We thank you for that.
Hey, you know what? We got a couple of nice cold waters here from Lindsay with Ovation Catering. Brought these by. How about that? You didn't even see them.
I did. You dump one over my head if it doesn't cool off anymore. No, it's actually not too bad now.
No, it's good.
If you're just joining us, yeah, the game time temperature was an even 100 degrees as Gary Brown leads things off here. Bottom of the 5th inning.
But it's a dry heat.
Yeah. A lot of our crew is from Texas, the Austin area. They'll tell you that it's hot as hot. Grizzlies had silenced Albuquerque's bats for a couple of innings, but Guerrero goes yard again to make it a 7-run game. 5 in the first, 4 in the second for Albuquerque. The Grizzlies answered with 3 in the first, but Frias, that young man right there, has really silenced their bats since that first inning.
Well, his pitches are a lot better now, making some more quality pitches. It seems to be in just such a good rhythm now. First inning was a little rough. As you watch his pitch now, down and away, boy, that's just a really good pitch, and a good job of Brown to foul it off.
Brown with a fly ball to a center back in the second inning after singling and scoring a run in the first. No, he did not swing.
What he's doing is mixing his pitches up really well. There's a good fastball in. Brown does a good job of laying off of it, and then he's been coming back with that good slider. As you said, he throws several different pitches, and he's throwing them at different speeds. What he does is throw 2 different kinds of sliders, and a fastball, 4-seamer, and a 2-seamer.
Off the bag, Robinson covering his Frias. Fundamental baseball, 1 out.
PFP, just like you draw it up in the book, but a good breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. Brown just trying to hang in there and make contact.
Now Joe Panik. That's Panik with a K. First round draft pick, 29th overall in 2011 out of St. John's. First year of baseball. Class A Northwest League, the short season of the Salem Kaiser Volcanoes. Led the league in hitting with a .341 average, was Rookie of the Year.
First pitch dead over the top, and he'll go 3/4 sometimes and took something off of the pitch. Well, he's got a lot of movement on that ball now. See this ball go down and away, and this is just exactly what Berryhill was talking about early. Said if he just gets some consistency out of him, he's got really good stuff, and we're seeing that already.
One ball, 2 strikes. Panik with an RBI, or rather a single and a run scored in the first. Got that inside corner. Panik knew it.
I tell you, just quality pitches. Sometimes you tip your hat to that pitcher.
Number 18.
Just a good breaking ball. Look how big that ball broke. Hey, we had a couple of guys help us out with a lot of information tonight. Doug Greenwell, been the voice out here at Fresno.
11 or 12 years.
Yeah, I got a chance to meet him in spring training, then hook up again with him, and then Josh Sushan.
In his second year calling games for Albuquerque.
Boy, good off speed that time.
As Josh told us before the game, Frias with good 4-pitch command when he's on.
I'll tell you, he is throwing a lot of pitches from a lot of different angles, and now he's in such a good rhythm throwing strikes as well.
Fresno jumped on him early. First 3 batters with base hits in the first inning. That time Perez with his second base hit got a chance to extend those arms.
You can see why he got a call up.
Second hit of the night, an RBI double in the first.
Number 29, third baseman.
Boy, just
Adam
good balance.
Duvall.
Breaking ball that's right over the middle of the plate. When he throws that hard slider, there's not a lot of difference in that and the speed of his fastball, which makes it a little easier to hit. But he's got that one pitch that he takes a little bit more off, and that's the one he's been getting guys out on.
So Perez picks up where he left off when he was called up to the big leagues. At an average up over 400 through the first 5 games of the season. Came back down from San Francisco, and he's 2 for 3 tonight. Now Adam Duvall struck out in the first, singled back in the 3rd inning. PCL leader in home runs, runs batted in. Three home runs tonight in this ball game, but not one by him until, well, is that going to get out? Yeah, how about that? Off the wall. Run's going to score. Oh, that's a double. Oh, it's a home run. I did not see the ump. Now
Well,
he
they still
signals. Now he signals home run, and the Isotopes are saying it is not a home run. Duvall nonchalantly into the home run trot. Damon Berryhill wants to come out and talk about it. Finally, first base umpire Adam Schwartz signaled home run when the Isotopes began to complain about it. It looked like
Well, he thinks he's got it.
it looked like it bounced off the berm and came back in. Let's see.
There's a screen out there that it hit.
It sure did.
So the umpires are talking about it now. But it hits that screen that's just up above the fence. Now they're going to get together on the ruling if it's a home run, if it hits on that, or no, it's a 2-base hit.
Yeah. That's why it looked like it hit the berm.
Yeah, good work by our camera crew right there. You see it hit off of that screen.
And that is not recessed.
No, it's right up against the wall.
Yeah. So if it hits that, it is still in play.
And there's not much argument from anybody.
And it could have been the umpires had to remind themselves that is still in play. That's not a recessed screen. So Duvall thought he had home run number 14, and we did too at one point.
Does Juan Perez get the score on that? I guess he does, huh? If they call it an automatic double, shouldn't he go back to third?
It's not a ground rule double.
It's not a ground rule double, but that's
now
probably
Damon
what Berryhill's
Berryhill's
going out.
ask the same question.
Yeah, if indeed you're calling this a double,
can you assume that he would have scored? Now,
well, it depends what the call is, and I guess they didn't call it a ground rule double.
no, it's not. And you got to remember too that there are 2 outs, so Perez is running on contact. So if it's judgment, would he have scored? He was rounding third when the ball cleared, or when the ball.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt he would have scored.
So another run in for the Grizzlies, and it's a 10-4 game. So Perez scoring for the 2nd time tonight.
Got to see a little bit of that power, though, and that's the deepest part of the ballpark. And other than that extended fence, it's a home run.
The only thing we didn't see there was all the fans on the berm cheering as though it's a home run. They all should have stood up and said home run.
Yep.
That might have helped.
Good point. That could be an educational thing they do here at the ballpark with their fans.
Yeah, if you're on the berm and it looks anything like a home run, get up and cheer.
Especially when it's, well, it's kind of a beautiful night tonight, so you can't really blame it on the elements at all.
There's the chain link fence that we were talking about. And from here, from behind home plate, where we are, you can't really see it very well at night.
Great work once again by our camera crew.
Absolutely. Boy, Frias really cut loose. Take one more look. This might be the best look of all.
Yeah, it looks like it's gone, but it very clearly hits off of there and comes right back into play.
Jock Peterson made a play on the ball, and then he led the charge of all the isotopes, saying, wait a minute, that's a double.
Yeah, and several of the players saw it. I mean, you could see them all running in, not only Peterson, but all the fielders saw it. And it didn't take long to work it out. The umpires got together and did what they're supposed to do.
Didn't even ask us for a replay.
And you being a former umpire.
That'll do it for the Grizzlies here in the 5th, but they get a run back. Leave a man on. We go to the 6th. Albuquerque leads at 10-4 in the minor league game of the week here on CBS Sports Network.
Brought to you by Xfinity Internet.
We're back in Fresno on a gorgeous night for baseball in Central California. 10-3 Albuquerque, 10-4 now Albuquerque leads it. Join us next Thursday, May 22nd. We'll be traveling to Ohio, where the Durham Bulls travel to Columbus to take on the Clippers. The minor league baseball game of the week at 7 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. And a new pitcher on that bump for the Grizzlies as they keep trying to cool off these isotopes. Albuquerque sending the top of the order, and Mike Baxter. Grizzlies reach out for Adam Reefer. 1-0 on the season, a 3.66 ERA.
Interesting story before the game. Reefer was going to change his number because he couldn't find his jersey.
That's right.
And then he found his jersey right before game time, and I said, that's just minor league baseball.
So number 26 is intact. Third pitcher of the night for the Grizzlies. Brett Bochy did a nice job slowing this Albuquerque momentum, gave up the 1 run. Mike Kickham got the start, but after missing a start, not sharp at all. Gave up the 9 runs in the first 2 innings, and Mike Baxter did some of that damage, as you can see.
We're having a good night.
A couple of base hits, scored a couple of runs, a walk. Good looking young prospect. Stole a base. Hit it hard. Brown's got a shot at it. And there's 1 out.
Well, there have been a lot of balls hit right on the nose. A little bit of that speed from Brown, who they say probably the fastest guy in the organization. Gets a good jump on it.
Number 8.
Just sets that foot down, perfect time, and short swing. Brown gets to this ball easily.
Gobbles up the ground, doesn't he?
Sure does.
Look like California Chrome right there. Preakness favorite.
Yeah, 3-5, I think.
Can't bet that. 3-5. You're not going to cash any big tickets on 3-5, but he's probably going to win. You know, we've talked a lot about the promotions and personality of this ballpark. One thing they're kind of proud of is a promotion that went viral on YouTube last year. You might have seen this. They had the Kiss Cam going. You know what that is.
They show it tonight. You don't worry about it. All right, up here.
Good to hear. You might go out the front window of that booth if you're not careful. But anyway, last year they trained the camera on a couple as he lost his bat again. On strike 3. Trienfeld.
That's another 14-30.
But the young man in the video, as you see a good look at
That's some good heat right there.
Andrew Susac
Gets nailed. Ow.
Third strikeout for Trienfeld tonight.
So go ahead, Kiss Cam.
Kiss Cam He's on the phone. She wants her smooch. He keeps putting her off. She dumps water on him and gets up and walks away. 3 million hits in 24 hours.
Wow.
Now, full disclosure time.
Yes, it is.
It was a setup. Our young statistician,
Daniel
came clean to us tonight. It was Daniel. Did you think you'd get that many hits? You couldn't have, did you? No. But you knew it would be popular. No, you didn't think it'd be. Just thought it'd be funny. Oh, not much of a crowd.
Just to get the crowd going, trying.
Was it your idea? The girls' idea. Did she work for the team? Gotcha. She works for. Did she get a raise? Did she get a bonus? No. Oh my goodness.
3
Still,
million hits in 24
How about
hours.
that?
Wow.
How about
and we
that?
got him here in our booth with us tonight.
That's right. Jock Peterson, 2-run bomb back in the
There's
second.
another one, maybe.
Could be. No, looks like Gary Brown's going to go back and look up and say goodbye to that one. We're going to run out of baseballs.
Holy mackerel.
Jock Peterson with his second home run of the night, matching Alex Guerrero's effort. They get busy on the scoreboard again.
I mean, watch this swing. Raise the foot up, pitches down. Not a bad pitch, it doesn't look like. Oh, well, it's not down that far. It's thigh high. And he just hammers it.
That was a moonshot.
I mean,
Cleared the
straightaway
batter's
simple.
eye. Wow.
Whoever told me the ball didn't carry good here, I'm going to have a little talk with him.
Well, it's carrying tonight. And it's carried Albuquerque to a fat lead. Clint Robinson with a ground ball to end the inning. But the Isotopes, well, they're glowing hot again.
The Grizzlies would like to recognize everyone celebrating a
Peterson
birthday
with
or
his
special
second
event
home
with
run
us
of the
tonight.
night. Albuquerque 11, Fresno 4 on the minor league game of the week. Some of the Dodger blue among the orange here in Fresno, where
Time to announce tonight's season ticket winner.
the Isotopes jumped out to a big lead on a gorgeous night for baseball here at Chukchansi Park in Fresno. And it's ladies' night, as you might be able to tell.
There's someone all duded up.
Giants
Looking pretty.
fans, Dodgers fans here at what is just about the midpoint between San Francisco and Los Angeles. And Fresno has owned the advantage really over the last 2 seasons over Albuquerque, but not tonight. And thanks to that young man right there, Carlos Frias. Fresno is trailing 11-4, 3 runs in the first, got a run back in the 5th. But the Isotopes just keep pouring it on offensively. Nick Noonan, a pair of base hits and 2 runs batted in, and a hard hit ball to center. Jock Peterson looks up. How about that catch?
You know, that was nice. I think early in the game, he did have some trouble seeing some balls, but that one, he was right on.
Number 17.
Boy, he just looks like a baby, doesn't he?
Doesn't hit like one.
No, there's a baby with some serious power.
Well, we talked a lot tonight about the fact that the Isotopes have the unique name, and we've talked about how great the nicknames are in minor league baseball. And it's not unusual for teams to hold contests to name their ball clubs. Albuquerque did just that. And thanks to the popularity of The Simpsons, that was the winning entry. In fact, the Isotopes got more than 120,000 entries, or votes cast, I should say, as Chris Dominguez fouls one down the line. 67% of the votes of the nicknames that made the final list, 67% of the voters said they wanted the team to be called the Isotopes. And in fact, that's exactly what happened.
Wow. Did I hear also that every time an episode was run that
Well, the episodes that are run in syndication, if there's an episode that includes the Springfield Isotopes, there's a run on Isotopes gear, hats and jerseys, and they can tell what part of the country just ran the episode by where the orders come from. It's a great pitch by Frias.
I tell you, he has really got it working right now. You say he has 4 pitches. I don't know. He may have more than that because he throws several of them from different arm angles.
Exactly. They tail certain ways. Makes his repertoire look even bigger.
And I like the fact that he works fast, too. He works fast. He's around the strike zone now after he got out of that rough first inning, which looked like this was going to be a slugfest. And, of course, it has been, but it's been a little one-sided right now.
The Isotopes, according to Forbes magazine, the 4th most valuable franchise in minor league baseball. They draw extremely well in Albuquerque. Of course, the Dukes were there for many years, won several PCL championships in the 70s and 80s. There's Frias' line. 5 strikeouts, yet to walk a man. And they left town and went up to Portland and became the Portland Beavers. Said he was without baseball for a year. But in '03, the Calgary Cannons moved to New Mexico, and that's when they decided to rename the team.
It's a good fastball. I tell you, minor league baseball is special for a community. And the people who are involved with it and stay with it, that love the game. And you wear so many hats. I mean, we'll have a general manager sitting here with us, but if there was a rain delay, he might be out there pulling the tarp.
Ishikawa with his 5th organization off the fists. Guerrero an easy play in a 1-2-3 inning for Albuquerque and Carlos Frias. 6 in the books, 11-4. Albuquerque leads it on the minor league game of the week here on CBS Sports Network. Back at Chukchansi Park here in Fresno, California. The grounds crew getting it done. They're just getting it done. I think they've earned a dance break. They've worked hard tonight. They've worked hard all day. We got here at 12:30 this afternoon, and they were already working on the field.
Well, getting it ready because they had the soccer game going on.
But they also wanted the field to look great for our cameras, and it does. They were not practicing their dance moves, though.
That is the Drag Kings.
Yep. And they, 5 years ago, they were named the best grounds crew in minor league baseball, but it had to be as much for the dance moves as the way they dressed this field.
Absolutely. You know, that's fun because I think one of the best things they've done in all of baseball is they now drag the field. Instead of once after the 5th inning, they'll drag it twice. You get a better brand of baseball. You drag it after every 3 innings, and you get a better brand of ball. Not any bad hops. Fielders feel comfortable.
Spoken like a true middle infielder.
I know.
You'd like him to drag it, admit it, between every inning.
Every pitch.
The home run man, Alex Guerrero, 3 for 3, 2 home runs, driven in 3, scored 3.
I mean, this kid is not that big.
Doesn't matter.
But he has some kind of bat speed.
Doesn't he, though?
The old equalizer right there.
Reefer with a good slider away. No balls, 2 strikes.
Well, they got Guerrero listed 27 years of age, 5'10", 205. So he's pretty good size. Las Tunas, Cuba.
He's not tall, but he's not small.
No. And they obviously loved what they saw when they saw him on the Cuban national team.
Got him on the outside edge, and Guerrero knew it. Great pitch by Reefer.
There's another 1430 Kino K.
Chukchansi Park opening May 1st of '02. You get another good look at that. That's nasty.
Yeah. Good pitch.
Tim Benarovich.
And you know, when we were talking with Josh Sushan, and which, by the way, he named his kids, his daughter Sue and his son Sean.
So he'll never forget their names.
Never forget it. He said that Guerrero was one of the most humble ball players that he'd ever been around.
Ran it in on him. Duvall into the stands it goes. That's a souvenir, and that's an error. Second error of the game. And Fedorovich on base for the second time.
Number 31.
See if he doesn't have a palm ball right here.
Jamie Romack.
Ball bounces, he's going to barehand it. Yep, he's got it. Looks like he's just got a palm ball and he just airmails it.
Ishikawa never had a chance at first. So now runner at first, one out for Jamie Romack. 2-run shot back in the first inning.
And Duvall, as good as he has been at the plate, he's still a work in progress at third. They've moved him over there to try to get him a little better.
Interesting because in college it was Dominguez, his teammate here in Fresno, who played third base.
And he has played all over the outfield now.
Yep. Romack with a 2-run shot. Part of the 5-run first inning. Chansey Park holds 12,500. Not a bad seat in the house. Room to expand just in case. 33 luxury seats, couple of party decks. The Tecate Cantina. Mentioned the pool and spa.
There's a gapper.
Line shot by Romack. That's going to find the wall and score a run. Third RBI of the night for the Isotopes third baseman as Fedorovich comes around for the second time. And Albuquerque just keeps pouring it on.
Watch how short and quick. He just picks his foot up and then throws those hands through. Doesn't even hardly stride. That's a quick bat
Number
right there.
21, left fielder Trayvon Robinson.
So now Trayvon Robinson drew a walk. Doubled back in the first inning. Throwing out, trying to stretch it into a triple. Struck out in the third.
Man, there have been some BBs hit tonight.
It's been a great night if you like offense. Come to the ballpark looking for a 1-0 gem. This was not your night, but I don't know who does that.
There's not a lot of 1-0 gems in the Pacific Coast League,
No,
I don't think.
You said at the top of the broadcast, this is a hitter's league.
We're just missing with that pitch.
They've had baseball here in Fresno since 1898. Fresno had a team in the original California League.
Man.
Trayvon Robinson with another shot into the right corner and tries for the double. Give him 2 on the night. Give him an RBI. A run scored by Romack.
I tell you, seeing guys getting in hitters counts. He's 2-0. He gets a fastball right down the middle, slips going out of the box, but still has such good speed. Good job of getting the ball cut off by Perez, but really no shot at all.
Perez did a nice job of cutting and turning, but once Robinson made that turn at first, he really stretched it out. And going the other way, Frias, and the pitcher helps himself, and Perez comes up throwing as Robinson remains at third. Well, Frias is having a big time out there.
Well, his teammates will be having as much fun as anybody, because when your pitcher gets a base hit, and you watch him now, he's going to step out in the bucket, but he throws him a pitch up in the zone.
Number 37.
It's like Reefer thought he could just blow it by him.
Yeah. And he's thinking, well, how come you didn't score? Look, my first let's go, my first RBI.
Well, the first 2 times Frias was up, remember, he took strike 3 with the bat not even on his shoulder. Struck out swinging in the third. But got his bat on the ball in the 5th inning when he grounded to short, and now Mike Baxter pops it up, but that's going to find foul ground. Oh, and not only does he lose the ball, he doesn't make the grab, but he loses the ball. Young lady winds up with it, and you could tell the fans did not approve of that.
No, they did not.
They wanted her to give the ball back. Right at panic. But they only get the one, and another run scores.
Yeah, didn't have a chance for a double play there at all, but did the right thing, got the sure out.
So it goes 4-6. And an RBI for Mike Baxter.
Carlos Cienfeld.
And now Carlos Cienfeld, and each of the last 2 times up, he has let go of that bat. Struck out both times. Total of 3 after an RBI single back in the first. First time he let go of the bat, it wound up in the stands.
Boy, everybody in this lineup, Dick, has a hit now. It's one of those nights where you look up on the board and there's a lot of runs being scored, 15 hits, and you just hope you're one of the guys that didn't take the collar.
Cienfeld just a .218 average. Driven in 8, including the one in the first inning.
That first inning kind of set the tone for tonight. They come back in the second inning, did the same thing, and boy, they haven't let up at all.
Talking about the history of this ball club. The original team left, came back in 05. Then in 06, the Tacoma Tigers of the PCL moved in, but they changed the name to the Fresno Raisin Eaters. Not sure what the mascot would look like there.
It looked like you.
That's true. I do like me some raisins. Nick Noonan, easy play at second, but 2 more runs come in for Albuquerque. It's a 9-run lead for the visitors. Grizzlies have to get back to work, make it a 10-run lead now here in Fresno on the CBS Sports Network. Albuquerque with a 10-run lead on Fresno here at Chukchansi Park. Bottom of the 7th inning following God Bless America, my old take me out to the ball game. Coming at you. And not too many fans have left. They've seen a lot of offense, not from the right team, obviously, but they've had a lot of fun here at Chukchansi with the promotions they've had happening here tonight. It is ladies' night, and as we mentioned, there are a lot of Dodger fans here in this ballpark. Mostly Giants fans by way of the Grizzlies. But there's a Dodger fan, and she can't figure out who she's going to root for, the Giants or the Dodgers.
Oh.
And she's wearing an A's shirt. So you got
the coast represented with San Diego.
Big league teams represented. All you need, that's right, a house divided. Thank you, our producer AJ. They just like to dance here in Fresno. Whether they're ahead, whether they're behind, they love their baseball. They love the Grizzlies. We love bringing it to you here on Minor League Game Week. Finally, the manual scoreboard has caught up. If you're wondering why I'm struggling with all these numbers, I was not a math major, but we're watching the manual scoreboard out there, and they finally, I guess maybe they're running out of numbers, or they just lose track. Fortunately, our crack crew in their production truck has kept track, and so many runs being scored. And pinch hitter now for the Grizzlies.
Darren Ford.
Darren Ford stands in.
Number 21, center fielder Gary Brown.
It was actually Ford who delivered the pinch hit. Now Gary Brown, the top of the order. So leadoff single. Gary Brown singled, scored a run back in the first. Fly ball and a ground ball since. If you're just joining us, Albuquerque put up 5 in the first, but Fresno broke back with 3 in the bottom of the inning. We thought we were going to have that kind of game tonight. Well, Albuquerque's kept up its end of the bargain, but Carlos Frias, as you can see, has pretty much shut down Fresno since. A good look at the manual scoreboard. Tringenfeld can't make the play.
Well, he was going to flip it before he got really control of it. Probably go as a base hit.
Yep.
You can tell he's got a chance. He's going to try to get it and flip it out of his glove. Stretches a long way for it. The ball comes up, hits off the heel. So it's going to be a tough play either way. Showed some great range. Just wasn't able to get it out of his glove.
So now Joe Panik steps in with nobody out, 2 men aboard. In a 10-run ball game, Panik with a single, scored a run. Second base hit of the night for Brown. There you see Panik, the former PCL Player of the Week.
Little talk, get the bullpen loose.
Right-hander loosening for Albuquerque.
Frias may be getting close to his pitch count. Interesting to hear Jim Maloney say that he averaged somewhere between 115 and 140 pitches a game.
Incredible. And you know, kind of a controversy going on now in big league baseball with all the arm injuries. I think I read where 21 pitchers already have had Tommy John surgery this year.
Wow, that's amazing.
Trying to trace it all and track it all, and some people wonder if the pitch counts turn some of these pitchers into hothouse flowers. That was pitch number 90 right there as Panik pops it up in foul ground. So they erase a dangerous hitter on the pop fly. Romack making the play, 1 out.
Number 18, right fielder Juan Perez.
You have to wonder about some of the pitches they're throwing now compared to pitches they threw back in the day. They're throwing more sliders.
Well, they're also doing a lot more weight work too, and you're just wondering how many things are they doing that's not comfortable to the arm in the long run.
Solidly up the middle by Juan Perez, his third base hit of the night. Second RBI, and it's 14-5 now.
Boy, he looks like a good hitter.
That's why they took him up to the bigs. Just couldn't get himself untracked in San Francisco, but
Number 29,
he is just clobbered AAA pitching.
You know what's been impressive is a lot of these hitters have not tried to pull balls that were on the outer part of the plate. They've gone with the pitch and hit it up the middle or the opposite way.
So now with Gary Brown at second and Perez at first, a run in and 1 out. And that's going to do it for Frias. But an outstanding effort by the right-hander for Albuquerque. He's responsible for the 2 men on base. And we'll tell you all about the new pitcher when we come back. We'll step out. A run in, 2 on, 14-5. Albuquerque leads it here in Fresno. Back with more of the minor league game of the week on the CBS Sports Network. Back in Fresno, where Carlos Frias calls it a night after going a solid 6 1/3 and leaves with a 9-run lead, but 2 men on. There's a good look at Jose Dominguez coming on in a non-save situation. He's got one on the year, and also looking to lower that puffy ERA, but he's just gone 8 2/3, giving up 13 strikeouts, but the 6 walks can be troublesome, along with 13 base hits. He inherits 2 runners and a run in. Frias gave up 11 hits tonight, struck out 6, but Doug, not a single walk.
No, and after that first inning where he really didn't have very good control, I mean, he was struggling. Every pitch was up in the zone. He really got into a good rhythm where he was keeping the ball down. He was making quality pitches. When he missed, they were quality misses. So, yeah, tip of the cap, because it looked like it was going to be a 20-19 game when it first started.
Fresno's not going quietly here in the bottom of the 7th inning. A run in and 2 on for Adam Duvall. So Dominguez comes on to face the most dangerous hitter in the Pacific Coast League right now. Leads the league in homers and runs batted in, and this is what he did back in the 5th inning. With a man aboard, he spanked one.
We think it's out of the ballpark, but there's a chain link fence that runs just above that blue tarp there. Hits off of it.
Duvall absolutely sold it with a home run trot.
Well, what we're seeing now is power versus power.
There you see the numbers for the season and the evening. That RBI total tops in all of minor league baseball.
And he got up in the first inning with 2 men on 2nd and 3rd and struck out with nobody out. So he could have added onto that total a little more.
Boy, Dominguez really pours it off that mound.
You know, we should have been collecting hats after every game. There's some dandy looking hats we've seen on this road trip.
Really are. But your hat closet, just from the teams you played for, it's got to be overflowing.
A point well taken.
And what is your wife going to say if you come home with another armload of hats? I know what mine would say.
Probably wouldn't be a lot of words involved.
Just a stern look or two.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's Spanish, so you never know what might come out too.
Duvall, the former All-American out of Louisville, part of that U of L team that went to the College World Series not long ago.
Boy, don't you just love the sounds of the ballpark?
Especially the wood bats. Doug and I cover college baseball as well, and it's just not the same. Bats, in fact, that they have deadened in the college game.
Wow. That's just a good swing. I mean, heat on heat. There's a guy who struggled with his control in his first few appearances. Tonight seems to have a little better control, although it's a 3-2 count. But a couple of pitches fouled off by a very good hitter in Duvall.
Dominguez, 6 foot, 200 pounds. There's a good look at the man. He got a great start tonight, Frias. And as you mentioned, power versus power, but he didn't want to give him too much to look at. And the ball draws the walk, and now bases loaded. First walk of the night issued to the Grizzlies because that man was sharp around the plate. You see his numbers. Still responsible for 2 runners on, but 66 strikes out of 91 pitches. So Dominguez, who last pitched on the 12th at El Paso, where he went 2/3 of an inning, but got rocked, gave up 5 earned runs, 4 hits, walked a couple. Trying to find the groove again, but nowhere to put Andrew Susac.
Well, you got a kid with a live arm like this, and it looks like the perfect setting to bring him into. You got a nice lead, and you want to let him get some confidence. And the first thing he does is walk a hitter, and that's why Damon Berryhill and other managers in this game lose hair or get gray hair real fast.
Frustrating night for Susac. Came in off a good effort his last time out, but 0 for 3, all strikeouts, as you saw. You can hear the pop in the mitt.
We may get a little bit more action going. Pitching coach come out.
In fact, that is the case. Fedorovich jogging to the hill first.
Glenn Dishman out to also have a little talk.
Yep. Dishman drafted by the Padres. Spent time with the Phillies chain, the Brewers, the Tigers. Coaching in the Dodgers organization since 05.
They don't get near enough credit, I don't think, the coaches in the minor leagues when they're doing most of the developing, getting the attitude right for these kids. Then when they get to the big leagues, somebody else takes credit for it. That's just life, I guess. Franklin Stubbs, also a coach over there.
Yep.
One of my teammates, Dwight Bernard, on the other side with Fresno. Played with Dwight, pitching coach in New York in the late 70s. Man, we're getting old, Dwight.
Last time out, Susac 2 for 3. 2 home runs, 3 runs batted in.
Well, you can bet he'll be taken here.
3-0 pitch. Didn't even have to think about it. It's an RBI. Second run of the inning turned in now by the Grizzlies. So Gary Brown, who reached on the infield single, comes around. Perez at third, Duvall at second, and Susac now at first. Good look at Nick Noonan, the shortstop. 2 for 3, 2-run single in the first. He kind of dinked it into center field back in the first inning, and Peterson fooled a little bit on it, broke back, and then tried to come in at the last minute. Peterson plays him to go the other way in center. Dominguez still struggling.
He's got a good arm, but obviously when we saw his statistics, 6 walks in 8 innings, now add another one or another 2 to that.
Dominguez missing up and down, in and out.
You got an 8-run lead, but you wouldn't look for Berryhill to go too long with him.
Good look at the bullpen. Took something off it.
Yep.
And that worked.
Josh Judy warming up.
Yep. 6'4" right-hander. Dominguez from the Dominican Republic. Gets that outside corner when he needs it the most. 2 out.
Number 17.
Well, he decided to go back. I mean, that's just a fastball that runs right over the outside of the plate.
Just enough movement at the end to retire Nick Noonan. Now Chris Dominguez, hitless tonight. 2 ground balls, a strikeout. An 0 for 4 his last time out. Dominguez, you mentioned his speed, Doug. 11 stolen bases on the year, 2nd in the PCL.
Yeah, he's just a really good athlete.
Seen a couple of 2 home run games tonight. He had one a week ago against El Paso.
Well, before they started moving him around to the outfield, he was rated the best arm for the infielders among all of their prospects.
Now he's finding the strike zone a little more consistently.
Well, you know, when you're struggling, those pitches are called strikes, and I mean, just painting the black. Seems like the pitcher to get all the pitches, and that's just nasty, nasty, nasty. And then tried to come back. Yep. He went away, and then tried to bust him inside.
You know, Chris Dominguez, a .296 average on the road, is .239 at home. And a big strikeout to end the inning with bases loaded. But Fresno puts up 2 more. They eat into that lead. Albuquerque 14, Fresno 6 as we go to the 8th here on the CBS Sports Network. Fresno makes it an 8-run game, but not many outs left in this one for the Grizzlies as the Isotopes have had their way. Watch the Stars of Tomorrow today with MILB.TV with more than 4,500 games featuring affiliates of all 30 major league clubs and home games from all 30 AAA teams. MILB.TV is the best place to see baseball's top young prospects. Visit MILB.TV to learn more. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, glad to have you along with us at the Chancey Park here in Fresno. Minor league game of the week here on CBS Sports Network. Been all Albuquerque with the exception of 2 of the middle innings of this game that were scoreless. Otherwise, both ball clubs have been circling the bases, but the Isotopes have done it far more often tonight than the Grizzlies. And a fan got hit by an errant ball, and this is why there's a bit of a delay here. They're bringing a stretcher out of the first base dugout. There's medical attention being given to one of the fans here at Chancey Park. There's a good look at the Albuquerque dugout, the Isotopes.
It's amazing more people don't get hit. My mom got hit last week with a foul ball on the wrist.
And she's got good hands.
She's got great hands. That's thank
where
goodness.
You got yours.
It's exactly where I got mine. So, of course, my brother and I had a lot of sympathy for her. We called and asked her why she didn't catch it. But she got blindsided.
And in all seriousness, the fan is up on her feet. But they are going to just make sure she's okay by taking her off the field on the stretcher. Looks like she's holding her arm.
Her arm, her shoulder maybe.
And, you know, earlier tonight, in all candor, it's amazing we didn't see another injury when one of the players' bat slipped out of his hand. No doubt on a night like tonight, your hands are sweaty. We've got a replay of the throw that got away.
Well, this is one that happened early in the game. And
it was a throw by Duvall.
Yep.
That did wind up in the stands. That was about an inning ago, so apparently she tried to gut it out, but she's just having a hard time, so they're going to make sure she's okay.
Yeah, it may take it a while for it to sink in, and hopefully she's okay. Take her and get her an X-ray.
Sometimes on a warm night, you just give way, give over to the injury. So the medical crew on top of things here in Fresno. And a new pitcher on the mound for the Grizzlies, who go to the bullpen once again. Eric Cordier. Pitched last on the 13th at Reno.
Your attention, please.
Went 1/3 of an inning, a walk and a hit. You see his numbers in his 14th appearance.
34,
15 2/3, giving up the 16 hits.
A lot of strikeouts in that amount of time.
Retires the first man he faces 77% of the time.
Boy, another big kid, 6'4", 215 pounds, 28-year-old out of Wisconsin, Green Bay, where your favorite football team resides.
10 of his 13 appearances, multiple strikeouts, so he is a strikeout guy.
Albuquerque in the top of the 8th.
Spent all of last year with AAA Indianapolis, the Pirates AAA affiliate. 44 appearances, a career high.
And the first man he greets is the #1 prospect, maybe in all of baseball.
Jock Peterson went yard last time up. Couple of home runs tonight. 2 runs shot back in the second, 2 for 4, 3 runs batted in, 2 runs scored. We were excited to see him when we got here, and he is not disappointed. Made a nice catch against the wall earlier tonight.
Boy, watch how patient he is. Doesn't swing at too many bad pitches. Just very comfortable at the plate.
Good fastball by Cordier, but downstairs. And you can see the velocity, though, Doug, why he strikes out a lot of people.
Yeah, he's got a good arm. We've seen some good arms, just a little trouble with some of the control problems. And, you know, that's why they're here, trying to work those things out.
Got the inner edge.
Yeah, with a lead like this, you got an 8-run lead. You're not letting your guys swing on 3-0. Comes a point in time late in the game where you don't want to show the other team up too much, but you want to stay aggressive.
He got the outside edge. Cordier drafted at a high school by the Royals back in '04. Picked up by the Braves in a trade for Tony Pena Jr. in '07. Off speed got him looking. Second strikeout of the night by Peterson. And again, Cordier gets that first man.
Willie went in, out. Now he backdoors him outside again.
Now Clint Robinson got off to a great start. Singled in the first, singled in the second, scored a couple of runs, but 0 for 2 since then. Gets the barrel on it. Gary Brown on the move, so is Dominguez, and Dominguez can't make the play. So Robinson is second on the air. That's the third of the night for the Grizzlies.
Well, we know Chris hadn't played a whole lot of outfield, but that time he just looked like he nonchalanted the ball. We'll take a look. He gets over in plenty of time, but he's just kind of jogging over to it. And Brown sees that he's got it. And he just misses it, whiffs it. I'm a firm believer. I'm a two-handed guy, though, myself.
Well, right about now, everybody in that Fresno dugout is agreeing with you. Chief among them, Bob Mariano, the manager. Alex Guerrero with a man aboard. Owns a pair of home runs, but caught looking his last time up. 3 for 4. Driven in 3, scored 3.
I'll tell you what, his first home run was hit hard, but his second one was a monster.
And as Doug said when we got here, talking to some of the folks who have worked ball games here, they told us for whatever reason the ball just doesn't carry very well in this ballpark, but maybe it was the warm air, the unseasonably warm air, who knows. It's been jumping out of here for both teams, really. It's been flying off the bat.
Well, Jim Maloney said it's normally in, what, the 70s, and today 103, I think, was a high today. That may have a little bit of something to do with it.
Good look at Cordier. Signed with the Pirates as a minor league free agent at the end of the 2012 calendar year. Had that big year last season, but then signed as a minor league free agent with the Giants. Duvall finally gets the handle. 2 out.
Another ball hit right on the nose, but he stayed with it, knew he had plenty of time, and getting used to playing third as well.
Ball comes at you in a hurry.
All the infield positions I played, that one I dreaded the most. I used to have to go in late in the game for defense when Pete Rose was moved to third, and I didn't particularly like it.
You couldn't play deep enough, could you?
No, that's true. You couldn't.
And again, who was that person you replaced at third?
Pete Rose.
There you go. Sitting next to a serial name dropper. Johnny Bench texts in. Jim Maloney comes in to visit.
I know a guy.
You do. You know more than one guy. Tim Fedorovich reached on an error, came around to score. 2-run single back in the first. Reached and scored. And whoops.
Look out.
That's the 3rd time that has happened tonight. 2nd time it's reached the stands.
I know that one was lucky. I thought it had somebody right behind the seat.
You gotta wonder.
Wow.
Is it just coincidence, or has that warm air really caused those bats and gloves to get slippery?
So you want a good seat at the ballpark, huh?
Heads up.
Heads up. That's exactly right. I think it's written on the back of every ticket.
Yep. And now we'll see if they offer him, or whatever they offer him, to get that bat back.
I think he kept it.
Well, they haven't had a chance to run him down yet. It is ladies' night, and it also appears to be mascot night by the looks of things. One pitch.
That woke the crowd up, that's for sure. But we've seen that several times tonight. I know they got pine tar in the minor leagues. I see it down there by the batters on deck circle.
Cordier last year, those 44 appearances, 4-2 record, 4 saves.
Breaking ball. He throws hard, and he throws that slider down and away. On 2-1. Get a good look at the way that ball breaks. Yeah, if your bat was going to go, that might have been one of them to go on. See if he comes back with another slider or a good fastball in the hands.
Just missing the outer edge.
Pitch is close. See if the catcher tries to help it any or frames it. Yeah, he brings it back, which lets you know that pitch is probably just a little bit outside. Catcher will tell you if it's a strike or not.
Full count with 2 out. 2 runs in for the Fresno Grizzlies, and that's the way it'll stay as Cordier, rather for the Isotopes, Cordier finishes things off here in the 8th inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. It's an 8-run ball game here in Fresno on the CBS Sports Network. Great night at the ballpark here in Fresno. We hope you're with us next Thursday. We're going to be in Columbus, where the Clippers will take on the Durham Bulls on the minor league baseball game of the week, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Join us right here on the CBS Sports Network. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, glad to have you along.
You know, I have actually played in that ballpark. Softball, though.
Really?
Yeah. Nice.
Will they remember you?
No. Josh Judy to the hill.
Got to look at Josh warming up in the Albuquerque bullpen.
Number 45, Josh.
6'4", 210 from Morgantown, West Virginia. Now lives in Ohio.
West Virginia U. So he comes in for Jose Dominguez, third pitcher of the night. Carlos Frias with a strong effort as a starter tonight for Albuquerque. As Doug mentioned, 6'4" Josh Judy. Taken by the Indians out of Indiana Tech in the 34th round in June of '07. Actually was with Columbus back in 2011.
Leading off
Made it up to the bigs with the Yankees briefly.
Number 16, first baseman Travis
Picked up as a minor league free agent in 2012 by the Reds. Played in Louisville.
Boy, keep that uniform on as long as you can.
And he will face Travis Ishikawa here to lead off the 8th inning. Fresno's just trying to chip away at this deficit, but every time they score, Albuquerque with the answer.
They had a good chance last inning and let it get away.
Ishikawa's got a World Series ring. He was a pinch hitter and defensive replacement for the Giants in the World Series in 2010. Spent 09 full time with the Giants. Hammers it. Peterson with a good jump. And there's one out.
Boy, he just looked effortless on that. Well, he seems to have a tendency to want to break back on a lot of the balls. And of course, he gets a good jump when he does that because he's moving back. We've seen him get tricked on a couple that have hit in front of him, but on this one, smooth.
Number 6, Tony
Ishikawa a few years ago was hit in the face by a pitch in his first game of the San Jose Giants. And while he was being worked on by the dentist, he met his future wife, Rochelle. She was a dental assistant. So if he doesn't take one in the kisser, he never would have met his wife. And now they have a daughter who was born on Ishikawa's 25th birthday. Things have a way of working out.
They do. Tony Abreu up to the bat now. Seen a lot of people run through this 9th position.
Abreu, a switch hitter. Joined the Dodger organization in '02 as an undrafted free agent. Also has spent time in the Royals chain, also the Diamondbacks.
Jake Dunning warming up for Fresno.
Giants also claimed him off waivers from the Royals. Alex Guerrero, 2 out. Back to the top of the order, Gary Brown. 2 base hits,
21,
scored a couple of runs.
fielder Gary Brown.
California League Rookie of the Year in 2011 with the San Jose Giants. Set a franchise record for hits that year, 188. Wow. Also had 13 triples. You talked about his speed.
Yeah, he can run. They said what they need to work on now is, even though he has good speed, he's not the good base stealer that they hope that he will be. Needs to learn how to read pitchers, get better jumps. See, hold up there. Ooh, that's nasty. I tell you, they've got some guys that have been running in with some good arms.
Dodgers keeping a close eye on that, obviously.
You know, Judy, another 28-year-old. That's what Barry Hill said before the game. He said, you know, we got a group of guys, he said, kind of old, but a lot of them have got some experience up there, and some of them are on the verge of going.
Well, you know, with all the injuries the Dodgers have had, the Albuquerque team's already made 60 moves when you consider the guys who have gone up and down, and A.J. Ellis with a rehab visit. Outstanding
60,
catcher.
did you say?
60.
Wow.
But, you know, talking to Derek Franks, the sales director here, he's talked about all the new faces you see when you follow a minor league ball club as Brown draws the walk. For all the offense we've seen tonight, we just haven't seen that many walks.
That's true. Yeah, guys have been behind in the count a lot, but then hitters have been taking advantage of that.
Dominguez came on in the 7th and walked the first 2 men he faced, but then struck out the next 2. Here Judy with 2 outs now faces Joe Panik. Singles scored a run in the first, 1 for 4.
The Dodgers for years had a reputation for developing especially good pitchers. And free agency's kind of changed a whole lot of that, but you still need to have a solid minor league system. I think 3 things that new ownership ought to do with ball clubs or any team. Ought to make the ballpark more fan friendly, include the former player, and build up your minor league system. Let people know about that history of that club by using the former player, like a Jim Maloney. Good sinker right here.
Well, you know, as the paychecks get bigger, and you see the bottom drops out of that one. Seems like you find more ball clubs doing that, cultivating their own talent, trying not to drop that huge sum on one guy. But sometimes you see front office types who just say, well, if we just had that one more piece,
yeah,
that'll put us over the top. That'll give us everything we need, so let's spend the money.
And how many times do you see a team that wins and is very successful, and then in the offseason they just go trade crazy and get rid of a lot of guys? I think chemistry is something that is not taken into consideration as much as it should.
Teams that grow and develop together.
I think so. I think there's something to be said for harmony in the locker room.
Tough to win without it. Two pitch to Panik. Off the end of the bat, Guerrero got him just in time. Grizzlies fans, the ones remaining, not crazy about the call, but that'll do it here in the home half of the 8th. Back with the 9th in just a minute on the CBS Sports Network. Isotopes leading the Grizzlies 14-6 here in Fresno. Dick Gabriel, Doug Flynn, glad to have you along with us on the minor league baseball game of the week here on the CBS Sports Network. New pitcher for the Grizzlies is 6'4" Jake Dunning out of Indiana University from Fort Stewart, Georgia. There you see his numbers, a good ERA, 17 1/3 with 15 strikeouts, 10 walks though. Dunning his last time out with 2 scoreless innings, or rather gave up a run at Reno back on the 10th. Walked 3, struck out 3. Retires the first man 80% of the time. That appearance on the 10th came with no rest. Back-to-back days.
Beautiful shot of the moon.
Yep. Dunning has had a quick trip to the majors this year. Appeared in 1 game on the 5th of May to the Giants at Pittsburgh. Facing a right-hander, Jamie Romack. Sends it high, but not too deep. Dominguez, who dropped the last one he played, one-hands it again, but makes the grab.
Yeah, Chris doesn't look real sure out there, does he? Haven't played infield
Still
most
learning,
of his.
yeah.
Left fielder Trayvon Robinson.
So Romack retired. He's a native of Ontario. He was on that Canadian national team that took gold in the Pan Am Games and was enshrined in the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. Now,
wow.
Trayvon Robinson, 2 doubles, a run scored, an RBI. Dunning, another player who performs better on the road. His ERA here, 8.31. But on the road, straight zeros.
Isn't that amazing how that works?
So Robinson hoping to get on base again. He drew a walk back in the 5th inning. Trayvon drafted in the 10th round out of Crenshaw High School by the Dodgers. Traded to Seattle in 2011 in a 3-way trade, the one that sent Eric Bedard to Boston. Then he was traded to Baltimore. Spent 2013 with AAA Norfolk. Into that year, signed a minor league contract, returned to the Dodgers.
That's why you don't burn any bridges when you play this game. As a matter of fact, I got to start my career with Sparky Anderson and finish my career with Sparky Anderson.
Well, Robinson on base again. 3rd base hit of the night. Looks like he's having trouble getting out of the box for some reason. He stumbled a couple times tonight.
Well, I think he takes a big stride. When you take a big stride,
Number 5, Miguel Rojas.
and a lot of times left-handers too, they're on the move trying to get down to first base before. I mean, they're running while they're swinging.
Didn't bother Robinson last time. He wound up on 2nd with the RBI double.
Yeah, after slipping going out of the box.
So now a pinch hitter. Take one more look at Robinson's big stride coming out of that box. Yep. Having a hard time digging.
That's the same thing. Yeah, maybe the ground's just real hard, but he's done that a couple of times now.
Miguel Rojas, the pinch hitter, batting in the pitcher's spot. Rojas listed at 6 feet tall, 150 pounds. From Venezuela.
That's one of the few guys we've seen under 200, I think, since we've been doing the games. Oh, that's a dangerous position over there.
Danger zone where they had to remove a fan 20 minutes ago. You know, the great thing about minor league baseball is they're intimate ballparks, but on the other hand, you're a lot closer to the flying baseballs. Good look at that angle.
I love minor league baseball.
You got to be alert.
But that's, you know, at anything. At every ballpark, and it's you know, when you go, don't be turning your head. And we could probably show the camera around here right now where people are not watching at all.
1 on, 1 out here in the ninth.
Boy, good battle going on here.
Rojas versus Dunning. Dunning with his major league debut back on June 16th of 2013. Drafted in the 33rd round out of IU. Worked his way to AAA. Got that taste of the bigs.
But once you get a taste of it, you want more too.
Well, you were fortunate. When you went up, you stayed up.
They were going to send me back one time. And I was told before the game, if you don't have a good game, they're sending you back to AAA ball.
Not much pressure.
No. And I was, you talking about a force, I went out and got a couple of knocks. There's a base hit.
Rojas gets it done as a pinch hitter. Goes with the pitch, goes the other way. Now runners at first and second, top of the order, Mike Baxter.
I think that's why I love this game so much. Here's a kid that's not very big, gets up there battling against a guy who's throwing pretty decent, gets him a base hit, so size really doesn't mean anything.
Size of the heart.
Size of the heart, that's it.
Now Mike Baxter, RBI ground ball his last time up. There you see what he's done tonight. He has been destructive out of that leadoff spot. Walk, stole a base.
Boy, not too many times you get 6 at bats in a ball game.
In a 9-inning game, you're right. Baxter taken in the 4th round by the Padres back in '05. Got up for 9 games in the bigs with San Diego in 2010, but wound up on the 60-day DL in 2011. Came off and was claimed by the Mets. Homered on the last day of the regular season that year. Following year made a catch for New York, slammed into the wall and hurt his shoulder, but you might have seen that one because that catch helped save Johan Santana's no-hitter.
You know, that's why I'm glad people are getting a chance to see minor league baseball. There's a lot of kids that have been in the big leagues or won't spend a lot of time that are very good ball players. Timing, what team you're on,
That's right.
what position, there's so many things that go into getting you there.
Getting that opportunity. Baxter, you were talking about at-bats. When he got well after the shoulder injury, set a Mets record at 5 walks in 1 game. There's a base hit. See if they test Perez's arm. Nope.
Well, with a big lead like this, Berryhill does the smart thing and holds up the runner. Well, it's a pretty nice night at the plate right there.
3 consecutive singles now, all to right field by the Isotopes.
Man, that's 19 hits right now.
Carlos Trienfeld wants to make it number 20, and more than anything, he would like to not strike out. Done it 3 times tonight. Also an RBI single. Bases full of Isotopes. Dunning finds the inside corner. I got to get you watching The Simpsons. You got to learn more about the Springfield Isotopes. And tonight Montgomery Burns stocked the team with major league players like Steve Sachs and Ozzie Smith and Ken Griffey Jr. Duvall, that's 1. Bases loaded, double play. Nicely done. 5-4-3. And the Isotopes go down in the 9th. Lots of work to do by the Grizzlies here in Fresno. Back with more of the minor league Game of the Week. Back in Fresno, where if you keep your head up, you might end up with a souvenir bat. We have seen 3 bats slip out of the hands of hitters tonight. That young man right there scored a souvenir without injury, I might point out.
That's the good news.
The Isotopes with a 14-6 lead turn to Paco Rodriguez to close things out, making his 7th appearance. You can see he's got the 1 save, struck out 3.
For Albuquerque, now batting 9th.
And Albuquerque going a long way tonight to turning things around against the Fresno team that has really had Albuquerque's number over the last couple of seasons. But the Isotopes jumped out for 9 in the first 2 innings. Fresno answering with 3 in the bottom of the first, but just hasn't been able to keep up. Juan Perez has tried to do his part. 3 hits, 2 runs batted in. Perez spending 34 games in the bigs last year with the parent club, the Giants. Recorded 4 assists in his first 7 major league games last year. People kept testing his arm. 13th round pick out of Western Oklahoma State College.
Boy, he looks good up at that plate, doesn't he? I mean, every pitch he looks like he's on.
Mentioned earlier, got up to the big club again this year, but struggled at the plate in a part-time role, just 1 base hit and 21 trips, but was batting .421 when he went up, and you see what he's done tonight in his first game back here in Fresno. Just a really interesting delivery. You don't see that very often.
You don't see anybody take it and kind of wrap it, and hold it out. There's a few guys that do it, but
well, they like to hide the ball now, don't they? As long as possible.
Well, he just, yeah, most of the guys do. He doesn't. He sets it right up there for everybody in the world to see.
Rodriguez, a 2nd round selection by the Dodgers in 2012. Take a look at this delivery.
Yeah, most guys are hiding it. Look, he sits it right there with. But, you know, you see more lefties do that than you do righties for whatever reason. Ooh, close pitch right there.
Well, you've always claimed in every way that the lefties are just the oddballs of the baseball world.
Oh,
are you going to back away from that?
Not a bit.
Stand by it? Yeah.
Stand right by it.
Right.
Don't ever play catch with them either. Can't throw it straight.
Rodriguez, a former Florida Gator. 3rd year in the Dodger organization. Lives in Miami, where he was born.
Another good hack. Good at bat right here, and he's had some good ones tonight. 3 bullets he's hit. Well, not really. His first one, the double, hit the chalk line, or was close to the chalk line, which knocked in a run.
Lucky fan. You'll remember his night at the ballpark.
A little high five at a baby.
Absolutely, he earned it.
Did you ever get a ball at the game?
The closest I came to an old Louisville Colonel game, I was inches away. My brother reached in front of me and grabbed it. And that's the way it goes. As Perez draws the walk.
Older brother?
No, younger brother.
You should have just taken charge.
Number 29, 3rd baseman Adam Duvall.
Now Adam Duvall struck out in the 1st inning, as Doug pointed out earlier, with men on base. But since then, single, a double, an RBI, drew a walk. Now he'll face the lefty Paco Rodriguez.
We talked about those 40 RBI, lead all of minor league baseball.
Rodriguez last year in the bigs picked up a win over the Mets in August. Hammered to left field. Trayvon Robinson believes he has room.
Not hard.
And he does not. Not many ballparks have been able to hold Adam Duvall.
You know, I started to call that. In my mind, I did. I just thought, you know, he's looking at it so good. This pitcher's setting the ball up where he can sit. And then gives him one right in his wheelhouse. Oh, my goodness.
Belt high fastball, and he belted it.
Yep.
You can't make a mistake like that against the top hitter in the PCL in terms of home runs, and Duvall with 2 more runs batted in.
You know, here's a guy tonight leading the world. He's knocked in 3 and strikes out with nobody out and runners on 2nd and 3rd and the 1st. He could have had one of those monster, another one of those 6 RBI nights.
So make it a 14-8 game. Bases clear now, and nobody out for Andrew Susac. He has struck out 3 times. His last time up, a bases loaded walk. Drove in 1 of 2 runs scored by the Grizzlies back in the 7th inning. Coming off a 2 home run night a couple of days ago.
Good pitch there.
And he will wear the golden sombrero after tonight. 0 for 4, all strikeouts.
Number 12, shortstop, Nick Noonan.
Now Nick Noonan. Hello, Noonan. two runs batted in, 2 singles.
See, my reference would have gone to Caddyshack.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
There have been a lot of strikeouts.
Probably more accurate.
Not like yours. That was good.
Noonan caught looking back in the 7th.
A lot of knocks. You look up on that board, there's 12 hits now for Fresno.
You know, if you had told the Grizzlies coming in, you're going to score 8 runs, 12 base hits, they would say, chalk up another win over the Isotopes.
Strikeout 10 Albuquerque
and
hitters.
Strikeout 10 Isotopes. You're right.
You take your chance. I agree.
Absolutely. Especially the way Fresno's been going against Albuquerque. But, boy, the Isotopes came out literally swinging tonight. Grizzlies with 3 base hits to open the game themselves. Brown, Panik, and Perez. Part of that 3-run first.
You know, one of the most devastating things in baseball, though, is when you let a team score and then you come right back and answer. And that's what they did in the 2nd inning.
Yep. It was a 5-3 game, and then Albuquerque came right back in the 2nd, hung up 4 to make it a 9-3 game with a pair of 2-run bombs. Peterson, Guerrero. Mike Kickham just didn't have it tonight.
And you're right, bombs is a very accurate description of those home runs.
Albuquerque put up 3 more in the 7th. Already ahead 11-4. Grizzlies just keep chipping away at it, but there's a ground ball right at Guerrero. 2 out.
Number 17.
Told you at the beginning of the broadcast about
Chris Dominguez.
Adam Duvall, Jock Peterson.
They didn't disappoint,
They
did they?
did not. No, sir. Remember those names.
And I tell you, remember another one too, Alex Guerrero. I have been really impressed with him.
So now Chris Dominguez, a rarity in this game, does not have a base hit. 0 for 4, couple of strikeouts. Practically everyone who's played tonight has a base hit for both teams.
Chris just looks a little out of sync tonight.
Bottom fell out of that.
Yep. And a lot of that might be just pitch selection.
Dominguez down to his last strike. So are the Grizzlies. Hear that train whistle in the background. It means our ride is here.
Well, at least we got off the bus. I love sitting and talking with the older ball players that said they used to take the train.
Yeah.
I often thought about doing that one time. Just
The
jump on.
overnight train.
Yeah.
Imagine chugging into a city to play a 4-game series after that. Got him looking. That'll end it for Albuquerque. Outstanding offensive performance by the Isotopes as they outslugged their rivals here in Fresno 14 runs, 19 hits, no errors for Albuquerque for the Grizzlies. 8 runs, 12 hits, 3 errors. Too many topes tonight.
Too many topes. They all just lit it up. I mean, everybody in the lineup had a hit. They came out. The big inning to me was the second inning where they put it away.
2 home runs for Guerrero, 2 home runs for Peterson. Too much to overcome for the Grizzlies of Fresno. Well, we had a lot of fun here at Chukchansi Park here in Fresno. Hope you're with us next week in Columbus. For Doug Flynn and our entire crew, I'm Dick Gabriel. For scores, highlights, features, and more, go to CBSSports.com. Be sure to join us on May 22nd as the Clippers play host to the Durham Bulls, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the CBS Sports Network. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. I'm Dick Gabriel. Thanks for joining us. That's it. Good night from Fresno for the Minor League Baseball Game of the Week.